La Crosse County Deputy Medical Examiner.
Were you involved in an investigation or autopsy of Barbara Kendhammer?
Yes, I was.
Were you present for the autopsy?
Yes, I was.
That's part of your job duties?
Yes.
Were you familiar with Todd and Barbara Kendhammer?
Yes.
How did you know them?
Their daughter is good friends with my daughter.
Okay. After the autopsy, did you speak to the defendant, Todd Kendhammer?
Yes.
How did that happen?
My daughter had gone over to their residence to put a poster board together for Barb's funeral. And my daughter had left some things at my house and called and asked if I would bring it out. So I had still been in my uniform because I had just gotten back from Madison within that hour. So I ran the stuff out to her and went downstairs to the basement where they were putting poster boards together, gave my condolences, excused myself, walked back upstairs, and Todd was in the kitchen. And I gave him a hug and told him I was sorry for his loss. And
We'll stop you right there. Were you there in your role as an investigator or just an acquaintance?
no, I was just an acquaintance.
At this point, had you talked to any law enforcement officers?
No.
Did you ask Mr. Kendhammer some questions about the incident?
I did.
And do you remember specifically what question you asked?
Yes.
What was the first question you asked?
I had asked him about a rash below Barbara's neck here, and that we had questioned during autopsy how they had gotten there.
What did he say?
He said he believed it was from him. He was poking her to try to get her to wake up.
Okay. Did he say why he poked her instead of shook her?
He said he poked her because he didn't want to jar her neck in case she had injured her neck.
Did you ask him anything else?
I did. I had asked him about a couple of lacerations that we had found on the base of her skull. He claimed that he wasn't quite sure of it, but it could have been from when he drug her out of the car to get her out of the vehicle.
Okay. Did he show you any injuries to himself?
He did. He showed me lacerations on his hands, knuckles.
Was it both hands?
It was both hands, yeah.
Did you actually see any injuries to both hands?
I did, yes.
Was he emotional?
Very, very.
Did he indicate he was having a hard time dealing with Barbara's death?
Yes. Wasn't sleeping well at night and just visibly shaken.
Were those the only questions you asked him?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Okay, Mr. Bernard.
Good morning, Ms. Carlson.
Good morning.
I want to first off be clear about when this conversation occurred between yourself and Mr. Kendhammer. You said well, you tell me, what date was it?
I don't know the date right offhand. It's in my statement.
If I told you it was September 21st, would that make sense
Yeah.
to you? And you wrote down what occurred on that evening, is that right?
Correct.
There's a fair number of people at the Kendhammer residence that night.
Yes.
Do you remember what time you got there?
Yep.
What time?
That's also in my statement. I don't know exactly what time. It was in the evening.
You were in Madison?
Early evening. I was in Madison during the day.
For the autopsy?
For the autopsy, yeah.
Were you present during the autopsy?
I was.
Who else was present during the autopsy?
Dr. McCubbin, she's a forensic pathologist, and one of the autopsy attendants, I don't know what their name was.
Anybody else?
Not to my knowledge.
You told the jury on direct examination that you inquired of Todd Kendhammer about a rash, as you described it, on Barbara Kendhammer's neck.
Yes.
Did you show Todd Kendhammer pictures of what you were?
No,
Okay, so you
No.
just, how did that happen? You just said, look, we saw a rash on her neck. What do you know about a rash? Or how did that work?
Well, during autopsy, Dr. McCubbin had noticed it, and she says, boy, that'd be nice to know where that came from. That's kind of, it's interesting, where I wonder where that came from. So then when I went over to the house, I figured, well, she wanted to know where it came from, so I'll ask. So I did.
You also asked Mr. Kendhammer about lacerations on the back of Mrs. Kendhammer's skull, is that right?
Yes.
Did you tell Todd Kendhammer that there were also fractures?
I'm not sure. Does it say that? If it says that in my statement, then yes. But right offhand, I don't recall. I don't have it in front of me.
Look, this evening Todd Kendhammer was visibly shaken, is that right?
Right.
He was emotional. You're nodding affirmatively, so I assume that's
Yes, he was visibly shaken. He was.
His house was full of people that were probably also all emotional, or many of them.
Well, the people that were down in the basement were busy coordinating the poster board. There was probably a half a dozen people upstairs. There was no one that I saw that was as emotional as Todd was.
And you began to question him about various injuries on Mrs. Kendhammer.
Right.
And you showed him no pictures of those injuries?
I did not, no.
You referenced them only in the most simplest of terms. In
Right. Oh, I'm sorry.
In other words, a rash or a cut. Is that correct?
Yes.
And as you're asking Mr. Kendhammer these questions, he's, as you said very emotional and crying and visibly shaken.
Yes.
Nothing else, thank you.
Mr. Grinke, anything else?
Yes. Ms. Carlson, I think a mistake might have been made with the date. In your statement, you wrote that it was September 20th, a Tuesday. Does that sound right?
Leading.
Again, if it's in my statement, that statement was wrote the day after.
Looking at calendar, September 20th was a Tuesday, September 21st was a Wednesday. Was it the same day as the autopsy?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have.
Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Bernard?
No, thank you.
All right, at this time, does any juror have a question of Ms. Carlson? At least one? Mr. Corbus here? Mr. Corbus here? Give her a clipboard. You write it on the clipboard. Right here. There you go. Any other jurors? Okay. 503. I got it. You have to initial it and get it. Right. right, the juror question is number 503 for the record. And if you can answer this, Ms. Carlson, did you consider excusing yourself from the autopsy due to your personal relationship with Barbara?
No. No.
Okay. Do you want to elaborate on that at all?
My husband and I were not that connected with Barb and Todd. Our children were friends. We would see them when they would drop Jessica off at our house, or we would drop our daughter off at their house, and that's about it. So there wasn't, a real.
Right, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
No. Right, Ms. Carlson, you may step down. Does she need to be retained under subpoena?
No.
Okay, you may step down and. You wish to call your next witness?
Investigator Leinfelder.
Under penalties of perjury, do you solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Could you state your name?
Fritz Leinfelder.
How are you employed?
I'm an investigator with La Crosse County Sheriff's Department.
How long have you been an investigator with the Sheriff's Department?
I've been an investigator for 16 years and with the Sheriff's Department for 25.
What are your current duties as an investigator?
We investigate all different kinds of cases, from burglaries, child cases, you name it.
Were you involved in the investigation into this case?
Yes, I was.
Had you been to the scene on September 16th?
No, I was not.
Were you assigned to question the defendant, Todd Kendhammer, on September 22nd of 2016?
Yes, I was.
Was someone else with you?
Yes, Sergeant Investigator Yaley was with me.
Was that recorded?
Yes, it was.
What was the purpose of that interview?
We needed some clarification on some things that Todd had told us prior to the interview.
Had you interviewed some witnesses already?
Yes, I had.
Specifically, who did you interview?
Justin Heim was one of the parties I interviewed.
Had you spoken to other officers about the case?
Yes, I had.
Before this interview, did you have some information that turned out not to be true?
Yes, I had.
Was this early on in the investigation that you did this interview?
Yes, it was.
Do investigators sometimes use false information when interviewing a suspect?
Yes, they can.
Why or in what circumstances?
To either elicit a response, to if we believe that the party is not being truthful, sometimes that's a tactic that is used.
Did you use any tactics in this interview like that?
I don't believe I did, no.
Did you use some information that was not correct?
Yes, it turned out later to be incorrect.
What were you informed about the clothes that Barb was wearing that day?
I was informed prior to the interview of Todd that Barbara was not wearing her typical Friday, I guess for lack of a better term, uniform that they wear. It's either, I'm not exactly sure, I don't remember what it was, but I was given information that she was not wearing what she typically would have worn on a Friday.
Did you later discover that she actually was?
Yes, I did.
During the interview, you talked to Mr. Kendhammer about some possible blood found in his garage. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Do you know if there ever was any blood found in his garage?
I'm not sure. I received information during the interview that there was possible blood found on the garage floor.
Did you also talk to employees at Crown Cork and Seal?
Yes, I did.
What information were you given about his work history?
I was told I spoke with the plant superintendent, the plant manager, and the HR director. I was told that Todd was a good employee.
And in the video, Todd disputes that there were some problems at work he was having?
Yes, he did.
Were any of these tactics that you were trying to use to intentionally mislead him?
No, they were not.
At this point, I think the parties have agreed that Exhibit 84 can be introduced and played for the jury.
84, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, court will receive that. Before that's played, I'll give an instruction. Any objection to the instruction as I proposed?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you jury instruction 158. You are about to hear and view an audio-visual recording with closed captioning. Recordings are proper evidence, and you may consider them just as any other evidence. Listen carefully. Some parts may be hard to understand. You may consider the actions of a person, facial expressions, and lip movements that you can observe on videotapes to help you determine what was actually said and who said it. If you notice any difference between what you heard on the recordings and what you read in the closed captioning, you must rely on what you heard and not what you read. Right.
Is the projector on?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and seat there? I gotta grab my folder here quick. Good job there, so, I'll be right back. This is Investigator Fritz Langford. I don't know if you met him at the hospital today or not.
I don't.
No, I walked by.
Didn't.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, sorry for your loss and terrible tragedy. Can't imagine what you're going through. My sympathies to you and your family.
Before we get started, you want any coffee or water or anything like that?
Maybe a little bit of water.
I'll grab you some water, all right?
And are you okay if I take up? I didn't take the medicine this morning.
Yeah, that's fine. No
I
problem.
wasn't going to try to take any today, but
What are you taking?
just some
I'll be right back.
appraisal on.
Oh,
It just helps a little bit when I
sure. All right. Are they working this week or are they?
end up
They're at your house.
at my house.
Okay.
Normally my son is with me all the time, but we worked on this project pretty late last night, and so I let him sleep in this morning, and I told him, I let him know that I was going down to work on the project.
Do you have a lot of families coming in from out of town, or are they all mostly?
I have a lot of friends coming from out of town. Some family, most of our families are around here. Some of my wife's is at Patrick, or I mean, Whitehall, up by Whitehall. But most of our family and friends are right around here.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're just gonna close this door for our privacy, Todd, so, because a lot of people walk back and forth and all that. Did you understand that? If you need to go to the bathroom or anything at any time, just let us know. If you wanna leave at any time, let us know if you get a phone call or anything like that.
Well, it'll just be my son if anybody
Okay.
calls.
I'm just gonna take a few notes here too, so that's
Yeah.
all.
Mark talked to you the other day and I've talked to Mark, but sometimes things get lost in translation. So what I kind of want to do today is kind of go through the progression of things, so I know we've got video that we pulled.
Did you find anybody?
Well, that's where we want to be able to figure that out. So just so I know, because videos are all time specific, sometimes they're a little bit off with times, if you know what I mean. Their clocks might be a little bit different, but we want to try to get that zeroed in on that time frame so we can find. We've seen some vehicles that we're doing some follow-up checking on, but so I understand it more fully. If we could just kind of go through that morning again, like, you know, you and Barb got in the car and
We left our house, I don't remember what time it was, maybe 7:30, 7:45, somewhere in there. And we headed out, went across the Osmus Road up to M, and started going up M, and I wasn't paying attention as to who was coming at me or what. We always just talked, and she always takes a thing of water, but we go in the car. And
where were you going?
up over to Holman, up by Holman, and we were, I don't know what kind of, how it looked like a bird coming at us at first, like one of them swallows or something.
Sure.
And then it come through the windshield. I tried to reach out for it, I guess, I don't know. And
How did you try to reach out for it?
I lunged harder with, I tried to hold on to the, I tried to hold on to the wheel, I think, with my right hand, and lunge harder with my left, but I think I ended up going with both hands, because when I turned on the Cooler Road, I was over, I don't think I was in my, I think I was more on her side of the seat than my side of the seat.
Okay.
And I don't, from then, I mean, I think, I don't know for sure. But I think I didn't know that she was hurt bad at first.
Okay.
And I don't remember, I remember seeing her, realizing what was going on.
When you first realized what was going on, what was it that you were realizing?
That she didn't say nothing at all.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't say nothing at all. And she thrashed. She was like thrashing a couple, 2 or 3 times, I think. She did it more than that or not.
Okay.
And
Where was the pipe when she was doing that?
sticking through she was trying to get, I think she was trying to get away from the pipe.
Okay.
I think.
Do you recall, was it on the left side, right side?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Right.
I don't, and I was trying to, I don't know how or why I put the car in reverse. But I put the car in reverse, and I got out to stop. I tried to stop, and I put it in reverse somehow. I don't know what happened or how. And I don't remember. I don't know, in the back of the car, I think. And I didn't lift her out. I don't think I lifted her out of the car nice and easy. I think
How did you get her out of the car?
I think I just yanked her out of the car.
Okay. When you say yank, I don't know what that means to you, or it doesn't, you know. But.
I don't know for sure how I got her out of the car.
Okay,
I don't think I just lifted her nicely, no.
okay.
I was,
What do you think that you did?
I don't know, I don't want to say, I don't know.
Okay.
I think
What makes you think that you didn't take her out nicely?
because I needed to get her, I needed to get her out and help her.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on the bank, I couldn't stand real good, it was up on the bank a little bit, it was all wet in mud,
Yeah.
and I got her out of the car, and I tried to get her head facing up the hill. I thought I knew CPR. I tried to clean her up a little bit quick before I did anything. And
What, clean her up a bit, what is
I
it?
just took my shirt,
Okay,
and she was bleeding out of her nose,
okay.
and her eye, her mouth, and her ears. And I didn't think at first to call. I didn't think my phone. I didn't think of anything. I had trouble when I tried to, and I don't know for sure, but I think I had trouble with that pipe trying to get her out of the car, and that's why I ended up just yanking her out of the car and throwing the pipe.
Okay, did you get her out of the car?
I got her out and I did CPR on her.
Okay, and then you got the pipe, or you had to take the pipe out first and then get the car?
I don't know for sure. I can't say. I think I.
Once you got out of the car, did you leave her side? You were
No,
CPR?
I never left her
So-
side. I started CPR, and then she was bleeding so bad. That's when I called the dispatch.
Mhm.
And then I never left the phone. I did CPR until the first responder got there.
Okay.
I never left her side. I just don't. I remember, and I don't know how I did it or what I did it or how, but I remember that, and that's why I was, and I don't think I was in the right state of mind when I did it. I didn't mean to do it, but the pipe was there, and I pulled her out, tried to get her out, and I ended up getting her head partially out, and her head fell down, and I don't know if I threw the pipe or what I did with the pipe, but I ended up yanking that out of the way.
What do you mean her head fell down?
When I tried to get her out of the car, the pipe was not in the way, but sitting there.
Okay.
And her head, when I tried to get her out, I was trying to stand on that bank, and I just had so much, I never thought I'd, I wanted to get her out to try to do CPR.
Mhm.
I don't know why I didn't try to get her nice and soft or slow. It was because it was muddy or because I wasn't in the right state of mind, or
So you said her head fell, right?
her whole body kind of like, when I tried to pull her back over,
She fell out of the bank?
she took more out of the car,
Okay,
and the door was wanting to shut,
okay.
and the pipe was in there, sticking in there, and I don't know if I threw the pipe out of the way, yanked that out of the way, and then got her out of the dugout first.
Okay. So, the pipe was in the way?
It was it was sticking in the windshield,
Okay,
hanging down by her, and I got her.
recall where it was hanging at that point, or?
I don't remember. All I know is when I got her out, I didn't know how bad how bad she was hurt, and I didn't want to, in our first aid CPR, I learn at work every year, I'm on the team. I didn't know if she had a head injury or whatever, so I kept hitting her, tapping her, pounding on her between breaths, trying to get her to talk or answer or say something.
And then the breastbone?
I don't remember, somewhere in the chest or somewhere in the somewhere I didn't know if she was hurt in the head or.
Okay, and that's when you had her on the side.
That's when I had her outside in the grass or in the ditch, whatever you want to call it.
Okay. All right, let's backtrack a little bit. So, we're looking for the description of the truck. And what do you recall about that truck? Do you remember where you were on the road, any proximity to turning off onto Bergen Coulee, what the truck looked like, what you can recall on that?
It was in when we talk and stuff when we drive. So all I can remember it was like a darker, like a 2000 era, and I don't know if it was a Ford or a Chevy or Dodge. I don't know. It was a darker colored. All I remember is the back had like a flat bag with sides on it. I didn't even look at that. I mean, I don't even know what. I couldn't tell you exactly what. Like I said, I wasn't looking at the truck to see what. I don't know what.
Where was the object, which would have been the pipe, when you first saw it?
Right. It looked like it was probably right next to the truck. I mean, it must be right just because I wasn't looking at the truck when it come at us, or I seen it down the road, and we just kept talking, and I didn't even if I didn't know what it was. I didn't think nothing. Didn't have any clue or what.
Okay, when you first saw that object, what were you thinking?
Well, how your barns falls or whatever, and birds are, and you're driving always come right.
See, the reason I'm asking is because sometimes that, if you can remember what you were thinking at the time, that might give you a flash to what the truck looked like. So I'm trying to draw you back to that.
And it was a darker, like a dark green or a dark charcoal or like that.
Could you recall if there was a large load in the back of it? Or anything?
I don't know.
Like that was pulling a trailer, not
It
pulling
wasn't on a trailer.
Okay.
And as far as a large load goes, he had something in there because it had to come off the top of it was up higher on where it come off the truck. The truck wasn't that tall, just the truck itself.
So what makes you think that it was coming up?
Because it wasn't down here when I first seen it.
Okay.
It was up. It's not like it come off the bottom or the side of the truck. It had to come off the top of the truck. It didn't come off the. I have trucks and the whole stuff, and there was no way it was a. They had to have something in there. I don't know what or how. I didn't even everything just, when it happened, everything just went so fast. And I don't know if I went into it. I don't know. I tried to remember it that day, and I went back out a couple of times to the site just to try to. We took some flowers and stuff out. And,
I think this is that look about accurate right there. Okay, so you're traveling from here to this direction. Okay.
Yep.
Can you sometimes looking at pictures help you. I know you were out there to see, but there's also looking at a still picture might help.
It was right driveway, just after this, right by or right after this driveway.
Okay. And that's where the pipe came through the windshield. That's when you first
Yeah.
noticed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can't remember if this guy was outside or not. It seemed because my wife's classmate lives right back here.
Mm-hmm.
And we always look to see if Matt's outside when we go by. I can't remember if this guy was outside or not. I don't remember for sure. He might have been outside.
Was there a lot of traffic that day on M coming in?
No,
Or,
not that, I mean,
no?
when I was down here, I don't remember if anybody went by or not.
And you ended up
Nobody would come and help me,
right in.
probably somewhere and right in here.
How long do you think it took you to get from your house to this point here?
Probably, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe?
Okay. How long do you think it would take from that point to get into West Salem at the intersection of M and 16?
Probably 12, 15 minutes.
Okay, so we're just looking at the time and video stuff that we want to.
You know, I mean, it's, if you're driving at 50, yeah, probably 50, 45, because there's some turns there you gotta make. You know, you gotta slow all of it when you get into town. I would say probably 12 to 15 minutes.
Okay. And I guess I didn't ask, where you were heading, this is north, you're heading north to,
Yeah,
where were you guys going?
I was going over to talk to a guy I work with. I ordered a windshield for him about a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife has been after me to get it out of my garage. It's sitting in my garage.
Okay.
And we were gonna just go on over there quick and
That's you on the side, you do some windshield work?
we do.
Get together?
I pick him up during the day, and then when she would get done work at 2 o'clock, then she would help me set the windshield, and we'd take him back.
Okay.
I've done glass for
Sure.
26 years, and so we just, as a tinker, little side job, we do it together.
Okay. So you drive up there together, would you change it right there?
No, I would pick the vehicle up and go home, and I'd get it all ready, because you have to have 2 people to set the windshield.
Okay.
And then she would help me set the windshield, and then we'd take it back at night
That's gotta be kind of a pain in the...
and go get ice cream or something.
What, is one windshield different than the other, or more difficult than others, or?
No, they're all, but I mean, it's not, I mean, some are a little bit harder to set because they're bigger, and she's not very big, but
Okay.
my son would help me if they were too big for her.
What was this a big one or not a?
No,
what kind
this
of-
is just a Ford pickup.
Ford pickup? Okay. And that's how it would work. You guys would drive to wherever, you'd pick up the vehicle and bring it back to your house and work on it there?
Unless they bring it up.
Oh.
Sometimes people bring them up.
Okay.
It just depended what it was. And this one's been there so long, she's just bugging me to get it out of there. And we went over the night before just to drive by and see if he was home, and he wasn't. So
What's his name?
Justin Heimer,
Justin Heimer, and he works with, you said he works with?
I work with him. Yeah, I got all the glass work I could do if I want it down through Crown.
Yeah.
There's always somebody's buddy or somebody that needs a windshield.
Yeah. And this was Justin's. Okay. How banged up are you? Besides, you got some cuts there. I assume you got some.
And I had a little bruise on my leg is all I had.
Okay. What was that from?
I'm assuming from the shift and knob, I don't know. I'm assuming it was from that when I jumped over to her side.
Do you know about how fast you were going when the pipe hit?
We normally go probably through there, probably, we don't that stretch all the way up to the top of the hill is full of deer, so we normally don't fly through there. We're probably doing 45, maybe 50, I don't know. Maybe somewhere, or no, because there's always deer from that first farm there where Hesselberg lives. There's always deer from there all the way up.
Okay.
So I know we weren't flying through there.
Do you know, could you estimate the speed of the other
I couldn't tell you.
vehicle?
I couldn't.
Seemed real slow or real fast?
I couldn't tell you. I wasn't even looking. We always talk when we drive places, and I couldn't even tell you.
Okay.
Do you recall any of the conversations that you guys were having, you and Barbara?
Well, we're supposed to go up to Warren's camping after she got done work, and she was giving me. She always gets
Got there
everything.
Friday.
Yeah, and she always gets everything all set out for me to load. So I can have it loaded when she's done work, and we can go. She was just giving me what's what, where it had to be, and who's going to go up to his room, because all the kids were coming up.
So what time did you head out? What plan on heading out of town?
Well, she'd get home at 2, and then we'd finish the final touch. She'd usually do the bathroom stuff and like that, and then we'd go, usually at 3 o'clock. It's every year we do, every year we go up the week before Cranfest, and then she's up there for Cranfest.
Sell those crafts you were telling me about?
We don't sell them, she just buys them for the home. She's got all kinds of different woodsy, rustic crock pots, and just, there's a big wood hutch that she found last year up there, and we built it, painted it, and just stuff like, she always finds little stuff up there, and then the big stuff, she'll take a picture of and we'll come home and build it. We got a friend that's got a workshop in West Salem that he lets us use, and we'll go down there and build. We got 3 of them cabinets we built not too long ago down there, just sitting there. I don't know what we're going to do with them, but
Okay.
yeah.
Nice.
Do you recall how their hands all got cut up?
This, I think, is from the windshield.
Okay. How did that happen?
I'm assuming I must have tried to lunge for the pipe, I'm assuming. I don't know what else. I tried to, when I realized what it was, I lunged over and forward.
Okay.
And more so with this hand, because I was holding the wheel with this hand. I always drive
Okay.
with one hand usually, but
And how did they get cut on the windshield?
what's that?
How did your hands get cut on the windshield?
Well,
How did your hands get? You said on the windshield. I guess the glass was shattered, or.
I lunged forward and over to try and block it or stop. I don't know what.
And you hit your fist came in contact
My
with the
fist
windshield?
hit, yeah, I hit the windshield.
Okay.
And that's how I had that little bruise here, I think, because I must have laid over, tried to go over, but I'm assuming I didn't know I had the bruise. It wasn't nothing that's,
There was nothing that.
I don't know what, I mean, I'm just guessing that that's what happened with that. It wasn't a big, I don't bruise easy. And I'm assuming that's, I mean, from when I from what I realized, and I didn't know it was a pipe, I didn't know what it was, but I realized it was something that was going to come through the windshield. And after that, I mean, I don't even remember turning onto the cooler road or how or why I got in reverse. I don't remember any of that. I remember yelling at the first responder when he got there. They drove by me the first time, and I had on speakerphone, and I remember him asking me what side of Bergen Coulee we were on, and I said, I didn't say it very nice, I don't think, but, and then he got there, and he just took his time getting out, and I yelled at him. I remember yelling at him, and then they took me away from there, and they took over.
So I'm just trying, maybe if we could walk through it, just, it went through the windshield. Can you tell me where each end of the pipe was at that point?
I have no idea.
Can you, when you,
I don't even remember what kind of pipe it was, how long of a pipe it was.
but each, there was two ends of the pipe, right? Is that right? There's obviously two ends to this pipe.
Yeah.
There was one end, where was that positioned?
I-
Inside or outside the vehicle?
It wasn't all in the vehicle. I know that.
So it's half in and half out?
Because when I tried getting her out, I was dealing with the pipe.
Okay, and at what point when you were trying to get her out of the vehicle, where was the end of the pipe that was inside the vehicle located? Was it still on her, to her right, to her left?
I think it was,
Take your time.
Breathe, take a breath.
you don't know.
I know you did, and I know, it's tough to talk about.
You said it was kind of holding you up.
Well, it was, I don't remember how it pipe. I know I got mad, and once they tried getting her out, I got her somewhere out, and the door kept coming shut, so I reached up through the door, between the door and the thing, and I yanked the pipe out. I don't know if I threw it or set it there, or what I did with it.
So did you yank it out through the door or through the windshield?
I pulled it from the outside, I think.
Over the top of the hood?
I think I did.
You're behind the door.
But the door kept wanting to shut on me, and I was trying to get her out, and I don't remember. I know the door was trying to go shut, and
Was she moving at all at that point?
no,
Not at all?
not then.
Okay.
Nope.
So where did you have to place your hands on her body to get her out of the car?
I don't.
I'm thinking that most people, given the position, I wasn't there, that's why I'm asking. But would you grab her from under the arms or?
No, I didn't do it. I don't think I did. I don't think I did. And I don't. I think my main concern when she stopped moving was to get her out of the car and on the ground. I think I made her. I didn't do that, no. I didn't do that.
What is he didn't do?
I think I maybe took her. I might have took her around the neck with one hand and then leg with the other hand.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't think I did.
Kind of like scooping her out, like,
No, I was in panic.
okay.
I was in panic mode.
So,
I honestly can't tell you. I don't want to say I don't know for sure. it just seems like I got her around the neck and the leg and lifted her out that way, but I don't know. I don't know. I can't. I've tried to.
So like, when you say you think that you did it, the arm and the leg, so it would have been, like if you were sitting there, you would have been here, arm and leg, or?
No, I don't know. I really honestly can't. I don't know. I know I didn't. I know when I was sitting in the cop car, I know I didn't just press her and take her out nice and soft. I know I didn't do that. Because I was.
What makes you,
I've
what
never.
makes you say that? Why, I mean,
Because I've never, ever, in 28 years, never touched her or grabbed her or raised my voice with her, and I was mad at myself. For some reason, it had to be because of how I got out of the car. I've never, we don't, I've never been, and I still think of how I got it. I just can't, I don't know how, but the door was in my way, and the pipe was in my way, and the bank was in the way, and all I could think of was the compression. You need to start compressions right away. And I don't know, my goal was to get her out of the car, and when I did and see she was bleeding like that,
do you know where the pipe struck her?
I did not have a clue.
But what was, you knew she was injured and she was not moving anymore.
She was at first.
Okay, yo.
She, and I don't know if she went sideways or forwards or,
So what was your understanding of her injury when you took her out of the car?
when
What was
I,
your primary concern?
to get her on the ground and doing compressions.
Okay. And what
And
injuries
I
did you
didn't
think she
start
had?
compressions immediately either.
Okay.
I just, I don't,
What time is it then? What?
Randomly, we approach from.
You know, it's been paused at 34:53, I believe.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I have to step out for a few minutes. Don't talk about the case. We'll take a short break right now, maybe less than 10 minutes, so don't take too long. Don't talk about the case. You all be seated. We're outside the presence of the jury.
Your Honor, I requested Mr. Grunke to pause the video to allow my client to go compose himself.
That's fine. We'll take our short break. So I said about 10 minutes. If he's good by then, let us know. Otherwise, if he needs a little bit more time, just let me know.
Thank you.
We'll be in recess until then. Can you step down? You all be seated. The record can show we're back in the courtroom outside the presence of the jury. We took a break for a few minutes for Mr. Kendhammer's benefit. If I understand it right, he left the courtroom shortly before the break, so he was not here at the time of the break starting, but he's back now. Ready to proceed? If you feel like that again, you can give your attorneys a little bit of notice. We can take a break again if we need to, okay? I would ask maybe you back up about 10 seconds on the video. If you can't, don't worry.
Sorry.
Hopefully they won't ask to see it again in its entirety. The jury's ready. You can bring them in. You may all be seated. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back in court here, and the state will continue the exhibit from where we left off.
Oh, I thought of my phone and calling this, then I'm on dispatch and it wasn't, I don't think it was very long. And I started doing compressions, and then as bad as she was bleeding, I didn't know if that was right, so I called dispatch then. I should absolutely keep doing just compressions.
Yeah, do you recall at what point that she kind of went unconscious because she was flailing?
When I turned onto the cooler road, I kind of turned abruptly, I think.
Mhm.
And I don't know if she hit her head then. It almost seems like
Hit her.
she was coming.
What do you mean, hit her head?
It almost seemed like when I turned, she came over towards me, and I put my hand over on her if I stopped her or what I did, because I wasn't back in my seat all the way yet. I don't think I was all the way back in my seat.
So when you turned, you think she hit her head?
I don't think she hit her head, not then, no.
Oh, okay. So what?
The only place she would have hit her head is if I reached out to catch her. Because she would have been tipping.
Okay.
And I was, and I don't remember if she came over towards me or not.
Okay. If she came over towards you, what would she have hit her head on?
Nothing. I would have just caught her with my,
Sure.
my arm or my hand would have caught her, would have been all. She wouldn't, I don't think she would have hit her head on anything.
So, so she was, I think initially, that she was kind of flailing, when the pipe came through, that you said that she was kind of flailing around a little bit? Or
Yeah.
At what point did that stop and she just kind of go unconscious?
When I think it was when I turned onto the coulee road. Because that's when and she would flail a lot.
Describe, I mean, I guess I don't, describe flailing, I guess, so we're on the same page, so I know what you're talking about.
Can you kind of show us?
No. Just like if you get hurt,
Was she saying anything? at that
no,
point?
say nothing.
Nothing? Scream, cry, anything
I
like that?
don't remember hearing nothing, no. She just, and I don't know if she went sideways or forwards or both. Her hands were going and her feet were going. And I don't know if she went sideways or forward or, I don't know. I just know she was just, and I wanted to get off the road and stop, I wanted to get stopped. And I don't know how if she was going forward, back, or sideways. I know she was just frantically.
Do you
like she
recall
tried to get up.
what position she was in when you were going to get her out of the car?
She was, I think I think maybe she was against the door when I opened it. And she might have fell out towards the door. And that's when I tried to push her back, push her back into the car so I could get up and get the door open and get her back in.
So you were inside the car trying to bring her back to you, or you're?
No, I got out immediately.
Okay, so when you opened the door,
And I was down.
the passenger's door, you were down kind of in the ditch,
Yeah.
and she kind of fell out towards you?
I think she fell out, tipped down out of the car.
Okay, and then
The
movement?
door came back down. The
Okay.
door didn't want to
Sure,
open.
sure, yeah.
The door came back down, and so then I went back up and I got her.
Climb back up the hill towards the door, towards the
It
car?
wasn't, yeah, it wasn't a big, I mean,
With a
it was
ditch.
just enough of a hill that,
Yeah, it's a ditch.
and I I don't,
You recall where the pipe was at that point?
the pipe was still in the windshield,
Okay.
I think.
So one section was the windshield, whereas with the pipe, the amount that it entered in to the vehicle. How far was it in? How far was it sticking out of the windshield?
I honestly couldn't tell you what the pipe looked like. I grabbed it, and I don't know if I threw it or
Do
set
you
it
recall
down.
how much of it was hanging out of the windshield?
I don't know.
But you're standing on the hill, the ditch line. You're holding the door open, and you took the pipe and you took it out of the door. The passenger door would be right here on your side, and then you grabbed it and you pulled it out, and then got her out, or you don't?
I don't remember how I got it. I think, and I don't remember for sure, but I think when I first got over there and opened the door, and she kind of rolled out, but she didn't come all the way out. I think the door came back down.
Door started to close.
Tried to close and it hit her.
Do you know where it hit her?
I don't know for
Okay.
sure. She was,
All right, so
I
then,
think she was mostly out of the car, but I don't know.
okay, so then you did what?
I climbed back, I went back up the hill, and I think that's when I got her out of the car,
Okay.
and her foot was caught, or something was caught. I don't remember. Something, it seemed like something was caught. I couldn't get her to come out.
When you were getting her out, were you pulling the pipe out, or did you go back and pull the pipe out?
When I got her out,
You
I
got
went
her,
back to see what hit her, what was, I wasn't even, I guess I don't even know if I knew what hit her or what.
okay,
And I went back, I thought my phone was in the car. Normally I don't keep it in my pocket. And her phone was in her purse. And I went back to see what hit her. And I must have been going to get my phone or something. And I yanked the pipe out. I don't know if I threw it or set it there or what I did with it.
okay.
And
So where were you when you yanked the pipe out?
standing beside the car.
On the passenger side of the car there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I was...
And do you recall how much of that pipe, or where? was it?
I don't, I honestly don't. I don't remember what. Like I say, I'm just trying to put pieces here and there together.
Sure, absolutely.
And I just had no, I had no, I just had a feeling I didn't take her out of the car tonight, so I wanted to get her out of the car.
And did she have her seatbelt on? Did you have to take her seatbelt off to get her out?
I didn't have to, but she always wears her seatbelt. She always wears her seatbelt, and I don't remember taking it off.
Okay.
So, but she always wears her seatbelt. No matter if we're going down to Perk Trip or down to get ice cream, It's the first thing she does is put her seatbelt on every time, but I don't remember taking it off. I remember something catching her, or something when she was caught on something or something getting out of the car. I don't know what it was, and I don't remember how or what happened, but it was, I pulled.
To get her out.
To get her out.
Okay. And was your phone was in your pocket, you said?
It was in my pocket,
And where was, you said her phone was in her purse.
Yep.
Where was her purse?
I don't know if it was on the floor in the back seat or where it was. But she always had a water. Every time we went in the car somewhere for a ride or something, I'd have to make her a big mug of water. I know she had that with her, in her lap or in her hand or somewhere with her.
Okay. And you're going up north?
We were supposed to leave that Friday afternoon. The family, and we have a whole bunch of cousins, and it's a yearly thing we do every year. We've done it for 26 years. We work the weekend before Cran Fest, and then she takes off. This week she would have took Friday off to go up, and we were up and I fished the cranberry bogs.
This week or last week?
This week,
Okay.
she'd take Friday off.
She was gonna be working last
Yeah.
Friday. And she gets
And we-
done at 2?
Yeah, 2 or 2:30, it depends what time she goes in.
Okay, what time does she go in?
Well, it's either 8 or 8:30. So, and Fridays are pretty lenient as far as if you come in a little late and leave a little earlier. And every year for Cran Fest, we always go up and she goes down to the booths and then I'm fishing and she calls and says what she finds and I gotta ride the bus down and have her get it
And Crab Fest would have been this weekend,
this
right?
weekend. And that's why I'm making this heart for my daughter.
Say that again?
I'm just making a little craft thing. That's where I was when you called.
To have some idea of kind of you said that you left the house between like 7 and 7:45, maybe so we can kind of jog your memory.
It was probably it was closer to 8. Usually maybe quarter to 8 or so.
Okay.
7, it wasn't, we never leave that early. It was probably quarter to 8, maybe somewhere 20 to 8.
You mean we never leave that? Well,
I take her to work a lot when I'm off.
all right.
And after she's done work, if they got a shitty lunch that day, we'll go grab something for lunch when she's done work.
Okay. So that day you weren't taking her to work?
I was taking her to work if the truck wasn't there. If we couldn't get the truck, I was gonna take her to work, and then I just pick her up after work
Okay.
with the camper, and then we go.
Okay.
This is how we always do. Anytime we're camping and she's gotta work, I'll take her to work in the morning, and then I have everything ready. She has a list of what I just gotta load in the camper. And then on the way down, I pick her up from school and we go.
Okay.
So we don't have her car sitting there all weekend.
That was the plan for that day.
Well, she was coming home this day because we had too much other stuff to load up and we made a big thing of chili and we had all the kids going, so we put extra bedding and stuff in.
Okay.
So we weren't leaving right from school that day. She was coming home.
After school she was coming home?
Yeah, I was gonna go down and get her with the car and
Okay.
take her back home.
So if the truck was there, where does,
He would have just came in and got it.
where is it Justin you said?
Yeah.
Where does he live?
Well, he lives over by, I think, Long Coulee.
Okay.
But the truck was supposed to, I don't know, I think he lives in Long Coulee, but he's got trucks all over the place. He does tractor work and mechanic work.
Okay.
And so he'll get a mechanic job that he does at a house, and then he'll call me and say, this vehicle needs a windshield.
Okay.
And that's why I ordered it. It's been, like I said, it's been sitting in my garage for a month, I bet at least. and Barb's been just bugging me to get rid of it. And
Where did you go the night before to look for the truck?
we just went up through Holman, out Long Coulee, and up over the hill to Mindoro.
Did you go to his house?
We did not go to his house, he wasn't home. Now, no, it's been, like I said, probably a month since he's told me where the truck was.
Are you gonna call him to,
I tried to call him.
okay. On Thursday, or when'd you try?
No, I haven't called him for, oh gosh, it's probably been a month, maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
I just,
But you didn't, when you had this, Barb was kinda giving you a hard time about getting this done, get this out here.
She's very adamant with our garages. She wants them clean and orderly and neat.
Sure.
And I tend to slack a little bit and get stuff in there piled up, and she's worried she's gonna break that windshield, so she's been bugging me to get rid of it. And she had the garage all cleaned up and everything ready to go over the dump. But that windshield she didn't want to move or mess with, and I just haven't been I moved it from, we have an attached garage and a detached garage. And I moved it from the attached garage to the detached garage now. And she got the attached garage all cleaned up. And I moved it over to the other one. And now she was gonna start cleaning that one.
So that's in a detached garage? Is that-
The windshield is, yeah.
Got it, okay.
Yeah, it's sitting up there in the garage and it's been there for quite a while, and
Where do you get your windshields?
glass on wheels.
And you said you were going out to look for the truck 2 times, or?
But just, I don't get too worried about it.
Sure.
When he has a glass job, it's usually it takes a week or two to get a hold of the guy, whoever it is, or for them to call you. And
How many jobs you done for him?
well, I got him. This will be the first time I'm actually doing for him. I mean, like I say, he's kind of a goes to farms and stuff, and works on tractors and trucks and stuff, and on his off time, and he'll call me with one, but the people never pull through with it, and this one's the same thing. I ordered it, normally I won't order them until I talk to the people, and I was ordering a bunch of other ones, so I ordered this one with it.
So he called you and said, I got one for you, and told you, what do you order?
Yeah.
So you said you were gonna find his truck and the keys were in it? Is what you told me?
Well, I was gonna try to get the keys.
Which one of his trucks were you gonna do?
What do you mean?
I mean, if you're gonna look for the truck, what truck were you looking for?
He'll like when he works on a truck of mine or when somebody else works, he'll leave it in the driveway with the keys in it.
Okay.
And you just go pick it up whenever you.
Which truck was that you were supposed to pick up?
It's a Ford pickup, F-250 pickup.
Okay.
Is what the windshield's for. I haven't seen the truck yet.
Okay, maybe I didn't understand it. You said he had a lot of trucks, so.
Justin does, yeah, he's got a lot, but this wasn't for his personal, I don't think it was, if it would have been for his personal truck, I would have got it already. I seen him out working, rounded it up.
But you didn't drive by his house on Thursday?
No, we did not drive by his house. I was under the understanding it was maybe I'm completely off, I don't know, but right over the Shufflebine Hill, there's a house right at the bottom on the right. And that's where I was under the understanding that the truck was.
How did you get to that understanding?
Just by people at work, talking to people at work. And
How are people at work gonna, I'm not following that.
I'm the glass guy at work.
Sure.
If somebody needs a windshield or somebody's friend needs a windshield,
You bet.
they call us. And Justin's known to be well, I set this up and do it, and then it doesn't go through.
How many times have you set it up and not gone through with him?
I haven't said it. I ordered it when he said about it. Because I was ordering other ones. The more I order, the better price I get on them.
Okay.
And it's a windshield that there's several of them vehicles around. I knew if he didn't call through it, I could get rid of it. And I just haven't my wife and I have been remodeling our kid's house. And with this camping weekend coming up, I haven't messed with it at all.
So going back to just the timing, just so we can kind of compare, basically timestamps on the video to what we're asking you here. That sometimes she doesn't have to go to kind of lax on the time that she shows up for work. Does she have to call somebody and report that, or?
No, if she's not there by 8:30, then she has to be. If she's not gonna be there by 8:30, then she's got to call and let them know.
Okay.
If it's gonna be after 8:30, because they have to start breakfast at 9 o'clock.
So Friday, where were you, you're going to Holman, where were you going in Holman? Were you going to,
I was just going over to that house right there at the bottom of the hill.
you weren't gonna go to,
Hammers, no, I wouldn't make it with her for work. Not that early. We would have to leave a lot earlier.
So she was all dressed, ready to go in case you found the truck?
Yeah, and she was going to work from there.
Okay.
Whether I took her and took the car back home, or she went to work with the car.
Okay, so she wasn't gonna stop back home for, she
No,
went to work?
for everything, she had her water and we were all ready to go.
Okay.
We had a phone call to her mom and with everything. It's a normal day of work.
Okay.
I talked to Justin.
Okay,
Um, He had never had you do any work for him.
I told you I never did a windshield for him.
Um,
Did he tell you that he had an Act 250 pickup from somebody in Holman or one of the Hill or Medora Hill or Holman Hill?
Back in May.
Okay,
And then what'd he tell me?
what did he tell you? I don't know.
And then he told me that the guy he had was busy. When you finally called back, you said that you had sold it.
It's sitting in my garage, the windshield's sitting in my garage.
Okay.
I don't have any windshields but the ones that I do. Are you guys insinuating that I did this to my wife?
I'm not insinuating anything at this point. I'm saying that Justin is saying that there wasn't a windshield order. He didn't talk to you. He hadn't seen you in about a month.
And that's what I told you, it's been at least a month, maybe, I'm just guessing a month, but I'm not changing my story, I'm 100%.
I'm not saying you are.
I'm 100%.
I'm just telling you that anytime that somebody dies, whether it be a traffic accident, something, there's obviously a lot of questions, and if we just take the first person, one person's word for it when they're under
Right,
stress,
yep.
that's why we're here today, is just to kind of clear things up.
Yep.
And try to get answers to some of those other questions. Obviously, as time goes by, more questions come up, and
Yep,
we wouldn't be doing our jobs if we don't
yep,
look into it thoroughly. So.
yep. And that's why, Ken, when you called, I want to get this, for Barb
Sure.
to take care of.
So there are some other, I think that representative of the medical examiner's office spoke to you briefly. Sandy,
Sandy,
okay.
Yeah.
You know her at all?
I know her daughter.
Okay,
My daughter went to school with her daughter.
okay. What should tell you about anything they found out?
She didn't say, there were so many people there that, she didn't say a whole, she just, I don't even know if she really said anything. Trying to think of what we talked about.
injury?
To,
What they thought they found out about her?
did I mention any injury?
No, did Sandy?
She said something about, I don't know. She said something about, I don't remember if she did or not. She said something about something to her. To her neck or her head or something, somewhere. She did say something that they were questioning or wondering.
Okay. Do you recall what that was?
I-
You said neck and head.
Well, I can't remember if it was her neck or her head. Or lower. I know, she had mentioned something, but it didn't, it didn't mean I wasn't, I guess, concerned or paying attention with it.
Okay.
I honestly didn't think it was gonna be a, anything, that would be a back on me or like I said, I didn't know how she got or what she got or how bad, extensive it was, or, I remember talking to her about, after they got Barb cleaned up, I seen some spots on her chest, and I mentioned to Sandy, I said I thought maybe that was from me poking, trying to wake her up, trying to get her to respond to me.
Okay.
I remember telling Sandy that.
Okay. And there were some injuries there, so can you kind of explain that?
But I don't remember, she did mention something else, but it wasn't anything that pertained to me, so I didn't even,
Okay.
What do you mean, it wasn't anything that pertained to you?
that it was part, I when I seen her chest, I kind of thought that was from me.
And how are you, when you said, how would that have occurred if you did that, what was the mechanism that you
I didn't want to hit her and shake her like, because when you're doing the CPR, and I didn't know if she had a neck or a head or how bad.
Sure.
So I just kept tapping her, trying to get her between compressions, trying to get some kind of a response or something. I didn't want to move her head as much as possible.
Okay.
And so I knew, I had a real good idea that was from me. Is what,
On her chest?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I had a real good idea that, and I don't know, she was talking, she did say something else, but it didn't even, and after now that you mentioned, well, maybe it is when I pulled her out of the car, I don't know.
What is?
But she mentioned some other injury that they were wondering about, or somebody had noticed or something. And I don't,
You don't remember what that was?
The only possible way that I could have heard her, I think more was when I was trying to wake her up. That would have been the other thing, taking her out of the car, but I don't know I don't remember how I got her out. I knew she was hurt bad, and I knew that I had to get compressions going, but I don't.
Okay. So, did Barbara have any injuries before the accident?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay.
Maybe just a little bruise on her leg or something from mowing lawn or
Okay.
nothing. I
And
don't
she
think
didn't complain about anything, or hadn't been to the doctor recently, or anything like
Uh-uh.
that?
chiropractor once in a while for her back,
Okay.
but that would have been about it.
Okay. And earlier on, we're just kind of trying to explain maybe what Sandra's bringing up to you. in the car, when we were driving to the hospital, you had told me, I asked her where you thought the pipe had hit her. Can you tell me where that is?
Well, I wasn't sure if it got her in the neck or in the head.
Okay.
Because,
Where on the head? Because it's a big area.
well, and I didn't actually see her when I was going over. I wasn't looking directly at her. I was going like this, and I don't know if she had put her head down. Is what I don't know. I can't say. If I want to say what I think, I think she went to put the, I don't know which way she would have gone or how or what, but I think she would have put her head down.
Okay.
It's just
Where was she bleeding from?
her nose and her mouth. No, not so much her mouth right away until I started doing compressions. And she had a kind of, someone come up and off, a little bit off her head, somewhere. And then when I started doing compressions, it seemed like she started bleeding worse. And that's why I called in and she said, no, keep doing them.
Okay.
Because I thought it would be,
So she was mostly bleeding from where? You said her nose first, and her mouth. So was most blood here or this head?
I don't, I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember. I
Do you
just,
remember where you wiped most of the blood off from?
I cleaned her face area up. Is what I mainly cleaned up.
Did you see any wounds at that point? Where the blood is coming from?
I didn't even, she had I think she had a little cut. I think she had a little cut kind of in the middle of her forehead, I think. Her hair was all done up for work and stuff, and I don't know what.
So all that you had observed was maybe something from
And
somewhere.
I don't know for sure if it was here up farther or from, I don't, like I say, her hair was all done up and I wiped her up a little, cleaned her up a little bit before so I could see her.
Sure. Okay. Did you make any attempts to stop any bleeding, or just
I
mainly
didn't.
concerned with the
I
CPR?
didn't do any, I just, my biggest concern was getting the compressions in.
Sure.
To try it, I mean, that's a, it wasn't like it was gushing blood, so I didn't, the thing they always taught us was get the compressions going, keep that blood going,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's what I did, I concentrated on that.
Okay.
Were you bleeding a lot?
No,
Just had the injury on your hand?
yep, and that wasn't,
You had some on your neck?
that was from, I'm assuming that was from when I was sweating so bad, and I was trying to keep the sweat from running down all over. I'm assuming it was from, I don't know.
It was, by keeping the sweat off, what do you mean?
I had so much sweat around my eyes and down me.
Sure.
And I was trying to keep it off, trying to keep the sweat away out of my eyes and stuff
How are you doing that?
with my hand,
Okay.
between compressions and,
Okay. So you were scratching yourself?
well, I don't think I scratched myself.
Okay. Then what, do you know how you got the scratches there?
I don't know. It couldn't have been from me. there's, I mean, that wouldn't have been from me.
Were they there before that? Did you have scratches on your body before the accident?
Not, I had one here,
Is it still there?
but nothing, you know, that's just pimple.
Okay, and how about your neck? Can we look at that too?
Yeah, they're not,
Clean.
no, and I don't, I mean,
So we're just trying to figure out kind of what the dynamic inside the vehicle was.
okay,
So, I don't know if you remember at the hospital, we took some pictures of those,
yeah,
and I think there's,
yeah,
that's the other side of your neck,
okay,
and then on your chest too. See, they're not there anymore.
yeah. No, and this one was, I don't know how I got that one, but
You don't know how you got that one?
I don't remember if we were, I don't remember. I don't remember, honestly.
If you were, what? You started to say if we were.
Well, we've been putting getting tree stands ready and mowing trails and stuff.
Okay. What about these?
I don't know. I honestly can't tell you. I know they're not from me.
Okay.
I mean,
You know I guess that's, like, you know they're not from you.
I mean, I didn't do it with my hand or like that or,
Okay.
I don't know.
Now that you're not sure how that one happened.
I think I had that before the accident.
Okay.
I think, because I don't know.
And how did that happen?
I don't know. I honestly don't. I mean,
When did you first notice you had that?
when you guys asked about it.
When we took the picture at the hospital?
Yeah. Well, no, yeah.
Or, yeah?
I didn't. I mean, I get scratches and cuts and
So you didn't notice that you had a scratch there?
no, I didn't know it.
But
No.
you're pretty sure it happened before the accident?
I don't know. I can't say. I'm not going to say. I don't know. I'm not going to say yes or no.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm just we're trying to get your memory back to see what.
I'm just trying to keep. A level head here, and I'm trying to answer these as honestly and the best that I can. You know, I don't know how my neck would have got scratched up or would be scratched up like that. I don't know.
You sure you don't?
Honestly, you can bring anybody in here you want to ask me, and I will tell you. I'll tell anybody to their face on a stack of Bibles. I'm a very religious person, and you can. I mean, there's. I do not honestly know.
Okay. Pardon?
Okay.
No. So, like I said, we were just trying to find an explanation for some of the injuries I saw. And you told me that she didn't complain of being injured. She hadn't been to the doctor for an injury, physical injury, and anything like that. And you noticed that there's blood coming from her nose at first and in her mouth, and then maybe a cut somewhere on her head.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was coming out of her. Yeah, I think it was coming out of her mouth right away too.
Okay. And then to be clear, can you kind of, without hurting yourself, can you demonstrate where by her chest or head or neck and how hard you?
I mean.
You showed me before how.
Yeah, I don't know how far up or how. I mean, I don't know how far up either down or what. I was doing chest compressions down below, so I don't know how far.
Okay.
I don't remember how. I know I tried to wake her up several times.
Okay.
I can't honestly tell you or show you where. I know I can't honestly tell you. I'm not gonna lie about it and try to tell you and show you where it was or what. I just know that and I didn't do it a ton.
Okay.
I maybe did it.
You told me you you were describing, you said you guys didn't argue, you never
No.
put a hand on her?
No, never, ever. I've never, you can ask, we have 5,000 friends that we do stuff with and family.
Okay,
We have had an awesome marriage together, awesome.
okay,
I would have absolutely no reason to. Our house is in her name, it was on her home farm. I don't know even if I have any insurance on her. We took it all on me, because if something happened to me, she would be able to stay where she is and live, because she only works 6 hours a day. I would, you can ask anybody, I would do anything for her, anything. You can, there's people we do stuff with every week. You can ask my kids. Our kids just had a surprise 25th wedding anniversary for us,
how long was that?
August 4th or 5th.
Okay.
We had 150 people there had a 25th wedding anniversary. And, I mean,
You loved her a lot?
I very much loved her a lot. I did. You can ask my kids. My kids will tell you I would do anything for her. Anything.
The things that we look at through the course of an investigation are, as you know, multiple different things. There's injuries to Barbara that aren't consistent.
Okay?
Okay? There's a lot of injuries to her that aren't consistent with a pipe going through the windshield.
Okay?
The pipe going through the windshield itself would, at those rates of speed, with a car going 45, 50 miles one way, say 45, 50 miles another way, that pipe would be a projectile that would go right through anything it came in contact with. If it hit her in the head, it would have gone right through that.
Yep.
So what we need to know, and sometimes it's tough to tell, is what was the state before that pipe came through of Barbara, okay? And it's not easy to tell. I know
How do we
sometimes
tell that?
we need you to tell us that.
What do you mean? What state? What?
There's injuries that aren't consistent with the scene that was drawn out,
Okay.
okay? And we need an explanation for those.
Okay.
And we don't have an explanation for some of those injuries because they didn't happen by a pipe coming through the windshield. And I think you understand that, and you,
Okay.
I mean, I think you know that.
Okay. And this is the first time anybody's talked to me about how everything is, or what.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've been out to the hospital since we just closed the deal out there, and then yesterday we went and got our stuff in order for
Sure.
to take care of her body. So I
I
haven't
know,
heard anything.
and I know you haven't. And we're kind of we're trying to figure out some of these things,
Okay.
and we're here talking to you so you can help us figure those things out.
Okay.
Of what happened before you were out on Bergen Coulee.
Nothing.
Okay.
There was absolutely nothing happened before we were out on Bergen Coulee.
Okay.
You can,
You realize that pipe would have gone right through the vehicle at those speeds with.
I don't know. I don't know. I've never dealt with anything like this, or.
Well, that's, and most people wouldn't know that, but with the physics of it, you have a pipe traveling, a 53-inch pipe traveling at 45 to 55 miles per hour heading in one direction with a car going to a car windshield at 45 to 55 miles the other direction.
Yeah.
That's going to be a pretty heavy projectile, and it's going to take a whole lot of something to stop it.
Yeah,
It's not
okay.
going to be a windshield. It's going to go right on through.
Okay.
Okay, and if it did hit her, and you're not not sure where it hit her. We're not sure where it hit her, because I don't know if it did or not, if it just shattered or what, but there's all these injuries that we need to have an explanation for.
Okay? I don't know what I can, I mean, what, tell me what I gotta do.
Imagine, if you will, a single piece of metal coming through the windshield,
Yep,
hitting you.
Yeah.
How big of an injury do you think you could receive from that?
well, if it's gonna hit you, it's gonna right through you,
It's just big around, okay. All right.
obviously. I mean, I can,
How many times did that go through you?
some people are gonna help me today.
Sure.
Um,
So how many times would that hit that person in the car?
what do you mean? What,
If it came through the windshield,
Yep.
can we assume that if it hit her once,
yep,
right?
yep,
Here's what they're telling us at the autopsy, is that she's been hit several places, front and back on her.
okay.
And so
No,
we're trying to
no,
explain
and
these injuries.
I'm not, okay, I'm not
Trying to
making
explain these
excuses, I'm not trying to get, I'm 100% innocent, okay, but I just wanted to say this. Could that be from when she, or wouldn't that be enough force from when she fell? Okay,
No, not at all,
it wouldn't be,
not at all, no.
okay,
Can I tell you what some of the injuries?
yeah,
She has a broken nose. The pipe hit, you can imagine if a steel pipe hit you in the
it
nose,
didn't, I don't think
there's
it,
gonna be a cut, right?
it would've cut her bad in the nose, I don't think it got her in the nose,
Inside her lips, there's heavy bruising and cuts.
okay,
Like somebody, like her lip was pressed hard against her teeth.
okay.
Not hard enough to break her teeth, but hard enough.
Okay.
So maybe a punch or,
Was her water glass open?
no, I don't know that.
Water
This-
glass went in.
You can let me finish.
We always, when she
Is it a
goes,
mug, you said? Is it a glass, or is it a
no, it's just a mug.
mug, glass mug?
No, it's not glass, it's like a plastic,
Sure.
it's called a bubble mug.
Yeah.
And when we go in the car, when she goes to work, I always make her that glass of water before she goes to work.
Okay,
Does it have like a sip top, or, like, 'cause
Yeah,
okay,
it's got a top you can take off, or,
the injuries to lips will be consistent with
or when you, okay,
okay.
okay,
And then she's got crushed cartilage in her throat,
okay,
around her neck.
okay,
She's got 3 extremely deep lacerations down to her skull, back here,
okay,
back of her head.
okay,
She has a skull fracture from those,
okay,
okay? And
Okay.
she's got a big, huge bruise right here on her jaw. Very dark, very swollen. Some swelling along this side.
it. She's got a cut right across her forehead, on the right side here.
okay,
So if you imagine that one pipe coming through,
right,
would you agree that it would seem very
Yeah.
unlikely that those injuries could have occurred that way? And that's why we're here.
okay,
Completely unlikely, because there's many different planes across that one projectile could not have produced
right,
those injuries.
yep,
Okay, so something happened, and I know it's unlike, I mean, you're a God-fearing man,
God does mysterious
Yeah.
things, but I don't,
Yeah.
that's not,
and these injuries did not occur in the mechanism that you had described to us, with a pipe going through the windshield, the pipe, the plausibility of a pipe falling off of a truck or in any way, shape, or form and going directly through your windshield, is one thing we look at, which is very unlikely to have happened.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
That's number two, that at those rates of speed, it's not gonna stop where it was.
yeah,
That's gonna go right out through and through the back seat. Let alone, I mean, if it hit a window, it's going through the window. It's gonna go, that's a flying spear. It's gonna go right through and destroy anything that it comes in contact with. So the pipe isn't something that caused these injuries. That's what we need you to tell us about.
I'm,
Something happened at
no,
home?
no,
Okay,
nothing happened at home.
okay,
Actually, nothing happened at home.
okay.
I have absolutely no reason, I have no reason to do this to my wife. None.
We've both been married for several years. I've been married just about as long as you have been. There's no perfect marriage.
And I understand that, and you can ask my kids.
If there's a,
You ask my kids.
okay,
There is absolutely, we have a,
we're not saying that you don't love her. We know you-
and I'm not saying that either, but I'm saying that there'd be absolutely no reason why I would, and why would I go out at 7:45 or 8 o'clock in the morning when everybody's going to work on a place like that and do something like this? I mean, there's so many places a person could, if it was gonna do something like that, a person could do it. I don't get why. There's, I'm
Well,
not,
it's just,
Did you guys get in an argument about your work schedule?
no, we did not. She don't like me working nights,
You were scheduled to work Friday night.
but,
and on the
yeah,
weekend.
yeah. Yeah, but she don't like that. She don't like me working nights and weekends.
Oh.
But, there's a certain fella down there that nobody gets along with.
Sure, that's why you're moving.
And and she was, till January we have our other schedule come out. And so just till January, we're gonna try it and see what was what.
Mhm.
So,
You were scheduled to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
take her up to
You weren't going camping.
yes, my wife and kids are on camping.
You were gonna take them up there?
The kid, but I always take them with us because after work.
Okay.
And that's the reason why the kids are going with her. If I can't be there, the kids are, her mom and
So
grandma.
you were going with them?
I wasn't gonna stay up there. No, I gotta work during the night. I was going to night shift. I left during the day.
You said that you were gonna pack and go and camp all weekend.
Yes, I was taking the camper up to camp all weekend.
Wasn't you included?
I come back to work and then I'll go up during the day. If we go camping when I'm working, I'll go to work and I'll go back to the campground after work.
And then you're going up to,
I better
Can
get
you
this,
just
this
silence
one,
that?
Jordan. This one. Hello? Hello? I'm down across here real quick for a minute. So I'll call you when I get down. Where? Okay, Jordan's here in the building.
Jordan's here?
Did you guys call him?
I don't know.
For what building? Are you at Bob's or in the?
We can check.
Okay. He's in the courthouse. Where does he come?
If you go right to the sheriff's department, go right down the middle.
If you
The
go,
hallway, there's the DA's office in the Kluger Courts.
If-
There's a hallway right down the middle, go up the first steps.
he's at the sheriff's department.
Okay.
So I'll be,
We'll get
somebody will be
this.
right out, just have a seat. Okay,
I'll go.
so, if, and this is just a dumb question, but if I'm gonna get, if you guys aren't.
we're just trying to straighten out the injuries.
And then okay,
Help us explain the injuries.
I can't explain them. I told you I don't understand, I don't understand those injuries. I don't.
Neither do we, and that's why we need your help. Because the mechanism, your injuries, we're not talking about. We're talking about the injuries on Barbara.
Right.
And the mechanism in which was described by you isn't consistent with those injuries happening. It's improbable for those injuries to happen because there's too many different planes. There's something that happened before the accident.
And
Something went wrong. Something
No,
went
it didn't.
haywire.
no, it did not. I've never gone haywire. I've
It's just this
I've never gone.
From what we see here is, the scratches on your neck kind of indicate that maybe somebody is trying to defend themselves, and which tells which tells us that this wasn't something that anybody planned out. Maybe an argument that any married couple could get into got out of hand.
We don't,
And she didn't die really. She didn't die till she got to the hospital.
we didn't, no, absolutely not. We have,
If there's a way to explain it, now would be the time to do it.
I don't know how,
Something got out of hand.
there's nothing that got out of hand with me. There's nothing that got out of hand with me.
The injuries around her neck are consistent with being choked.
Okay, and I never choked her.
Okay.
I never, but, I mean, I've got,
Todd, you gotta stop for a second. Take a breath and relax, okay?
I can't.
I know it's tough, but let's try for a second, okay? The injuries on Barbara did not occur by a pipe coming through the windshield. You were driving in the car with Barbara before the pipe came through the windshield off of the truck. She had no injuries at that point, is what you're trying to say, and we're saying that those injuries had to have occurred sometime prior to that pipe coming through there. Because the pipe didn't come off the truck, and I think you know that too.
No, I'm not.
You know that they didn't happen that way, Todd. The injuries aren't consistent. There's no way that those injuries occurred that way. There's injuries to the back of her head, there's injuries to her neck, there's injuries to her nose, there's injuries to her forehead, there's injuries to her jaw. There's all these different injuries that didn't occur. The pipe didn't go bing, 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 bing,
I understand
bing,
that.
all.
I understand
We're
that.
forced to do these kind of injuries. Injuries to the mouth, to the lips, are all consistent. They're all consistent with a struggle that happened at some point.
I did not struggle with her at all. The
They're
only
not
struggle I had with her was out when I was trying to get her to CPR her.
And that's not gonna, you taking her out of a car, you placing her down on the sidewalk and performing CPR is not gonna cause any kind of injuries that we're talking about. Those aren't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen that way, Todd. You know that that's not gonna happen. You're trying to explain some of the things away, but the problem is that you can't explain some of those away.
I can't. I don't know what happened. I can't explain them. I mean, there's
You ever blacked out?
no,
No.
not that I know of.
Not a big drinker or anything like that?
No, I drink brandy once in a while, but not, I mean, I'm not an alcoholic or,
Something happened before you got in the car.
I'm telling you, I'm looking at you.
Okay, then help me explain these injuries.
I don't know how to explain them.
Give me well, there's the injuries to the nose. There's injuries to the mouth.
What kind of injuries to the nose?
Her nose is broken.
Like sideways, like in, like how?
It's broken, there's no cuts to it.
It couldn't be from a mug, with her mug?
The nose is broken, the lips are bruised, there's a cut across her forehead. There's injuries here, there's injuries to the back of her head.
But
There's no damage to your car.
There's fractured skull.
why would it be damage to my car?
Well, if you're trying to explain that her head might hit the dash or her drink, it's nothing that caused the car to stop suddenly.
Well, the only thing that would have been when I put it in reverse.
And that's not gonna have enough force to do anything because
Right. The only possible thing that I can think of that when she, I don't know. I don't know. I can't. I'm not a crime scene guy. I'm not a.
you're not a crime scene person, but you were there.
But if I was going to try to do something to my wife, I sure in the hell wouldn't have done it like this. To put somebody through misery and pain like that. There's no way in hell I would have ever. I've got 50 guns sitting in my cabinet. I've got so many things, and we had no fight. There was absolutely zero fight. We had absolutely nothing.
Sometimes in moments of anger, they can turn into rage, and those things just all of a sudden, yeah, you get guns and this there, but
I'm telling you, there was no anger, there was no rage. I'm not an evil and mean.
How'd the pipe go through the windshield?
What do you mean?
How did the pipe get through the windshield? Let's start there.
It came off the truck. I did not put that pipe through that windshield.
I didn't say you did, but I'm saying how did it get through the windshield?
I don't know.
You kind of explained the physics of it. You kind of understood that, right?
Yep.
Okay. That it's just not going to stop and get stuck in the windshield at those velocities.
There is absolutely, with the granddaughter and my kids and my
And
wife.
I understand that. Did something snapped, something went
No,
AWOL.
no, it didn't.
There's
I don't
something
do
that
that.
happened that, I know, and I'm not saying that you had made a practice of anything like this at all. I'm just saying that something snapped
No,
and something happened.
you can try and get me to snap, I'll never
I'm not,
snap.
what happened?
I-
Well, help us explain.
I wish I
Explain
could.
to me.
I honestly wish I could explain it to you. I honestly wish I could explain this to you.
Because your story about going to pick up a vehicle to do the windshield that's a lie.
It's not a lie.
That's a complete lie.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. You didn't go to, you said his keys, you told him the keys are always in his car, he's always there. If he's gonna have a truck, he's gonna have it parked at the driveway, in his driveway.
At his
Thursday-
house.
Yes, and Thursday you drove up there to pick up the car, but you never went by his driveway. You were looking around for it. You thought it was at Shufflebine, but you're driving around.
Yes, we went
in the
up
home.
the other hill.
Yeah, but you didn't go to his house to
We-
look
we-
for it.
Yes, but it wasn't at his house.
You said that that's where it would always be, but
No.
you haven't how did you know where it was?
It wasn't at his house.
How do you know that? Tell me how you know that.
Because it wasn't his truck.
How do you know that it wasn't his? You said if he has a truck for you to fix, it's always at his house. Whose house was it at?
No, I didn't see it's always at
Whose
his.
house was that?
I don't know the guy's name.
So you're gonna go look for a truck that's parked at an unknown person's house that might be over the backside of Shufflebine Hill, and if the keys are in it, you're gonna take it?
Yeah.
You don't know who the guy is?
There's a Ford truck with the.
Really?
I do it all the time. I do it all the time. I've done it for 26 years.
So for 26 years, you'll have somebody call you and say, hey, I got a windshield for you to fix. It's my buddy's. Go pick it up.
When I was in business.
Where is it?
When I was in business, no.
Where is it?
But now,
It's at his house. Who is his buddy?
but now with how we are, yes, I
Who
do.
is his buddy? That's not plausible.
I'm,
You know that's not plausible. That's not where you're going that morning.
yes, it is.
No, You
I'm-
haven't talked to him for the
I'm
longest
not,
time.
I'm not,
He said that the
Sir, I said I'm
only
being
the only
very-
time that he had contact with you was back in May.
he
Remember what
usually,
kind of windshield he told you to order?
there was a couple of them that he wanted,
Oh, you told him to order one.
but,
He said he's got one.
but
Remember what kind it was?
I don't remember anymore. I got such
No?
a memory right now.
You don't remember what kind he told you to order in May?
Well, the F-250 was the one, the windshield that I ordered for him.
Yeah, a month ago.
Yeah,
Okay. Why would you order a month ago?
because that's what he talked to me about. That's when I ordered all the other ones.
In May. He talked to you in May about it, 'cause his buddy had this truck. And you told him that it was a coincidence because you actually had one on hand.
I sold that a long time ago from that,
Yep.
the one I had on hand.
And then he never contacted you again about anything, ordered another one. Never did. Never had any conversation about where it was. He didn't talk to you about anything else. He never told you the guy's name. So your story about driving to Holman to get a pickup truck that you don't know where it is or anything about it other than it's what was it?
Sir,
What was the vehicle?
a Ford pickup,
What kind of Ford pickup?
F-250.
Okay. And that's what you're gonna go do. You're gonna drive around on the day that you're gonna go camping. You got all this stuff to get ready to go.
We do it all the time.
Your wife's gonna be driving.
All
you.
the time.
You don't do it all the time.
We,
You don't do that all the time.
okay.
All the
Have
time,
you,
all the time, somebody will contact you, say, I got a cracked windshield, can you get me one? Yep, okay. I'm either gonna bring it to your house to have it fixed, or you're gonna come to my house to have it fixed. That's what you said before.
Yeah.
You're just on a wild goose chase, driving around Holman, trying to find an F-250 or a Ford pickup truck someplace around Holman that you didn't find.
No.
You also said, if it's gonna have it fixed, he's gonna have it at his house and the keys are in it, because he always leaves the keys in it.
in his truck, he does.
What's his house look like?
It's an old farmhouse,
Okay, where?
back at the end of a coulee. Got jumped
How many times you been
over
there?
once.
Okay.
So,
When were you there? Once?
oh God, It's been, he's supposed to be doing some work on my son's tractor.
He did work on your son's tractor.
He didn't do work, he did the heads for it.
Yep.
My son took them there,
Yep.
yeah.
Your son took
The head there.
to his house?
Yeah,
Okay. And you've been there how many times?
just once,
When was that?
I don't know, when, a long time ago.
But if you're gonna do work for him and do windshields, you said he's always gonna have his truck in the driveway with keys in it. But you haven't done work for him, so you wouldn't know that.
His truck is always in the truck, yes.
How do you know that?
He tells me that, tells
He
all the
said
time.
in his normal conversation, you know, by the way, I always leave my keys in my truck and they're in my driveway.
I know a lot of people that do.
I know a lot of people that do too. I don't know a lot of people that just in the middle of a conversation blurt out and say, I always do that.
I have quite a few friends that tell me that in case something ever comes up or.
What's the time? Your Honor, we're stopping the tape at 1:41:23. We thought it's a good time for a break. 10-minute break.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll have you step out again. Don't talk about the case. We'll take about 15-minute break thereabouts and conclude the video before lunch, I believe. Investigator, you can step down. Everyone can be seated. We're outside the presence of the jury. So, Mr. Grinke, just for lunch purposes, do you anticipate then taking a break after the video, or do you have questions at that point?
Well, we've got about 2 hours of video left, so we could play it to noon and stop it, and then take a lunch break and play more video after, or we could go through the lunch hour.
That would take us to 1 o'clock,
Correct.
so we'll stop about noon then.
And take a lunch break then, okay. And then we'd have another bit after lunch, and then we'd finish up.
That's fine. All right, so you have about an hour out, then you can stop it?
Yes.
That'd be about 12:05, so we'll advise them for that. We'll take a break then. Anything any party wants to put on the record at this moment?
No.
Okay, about 11:05 or so.
Please rise.
May be seated. Investigator, can you tell my bailiff to get in here and shut that door? Record can show that we're in the courtroom outside the presence of the jury. Anything before I bring the jury in?
No.
No. If they're ready, you can bring them in. Right, you may all be seated. Okay, Mr. Grinke, you can continue with your direct.
So,
Your wife's gonna get done with, your wife's gonna get done at 2:30 on Friday, okay? And you weren't gonna leave directly from school because she's got a lot of packing to do.
wait some to finish.
Yep, so we got a lot of packing to do.
And it was raining.
Yep, and it was raining, so you're not gonna leave at 2:30. She gets done at 2:30. She gets done at 2:30. It's gonna take her a period of time to get home, so you're looking at 3 o'clock.
Yep.
Then you gotta pack,
Yep.
you gotta do all kinds of stuff, so now
You're
you're
up there and set up and you're wondering how I'm gonna get to work, right?
you're not gonna get to work.
Right.
You know you're not gonna get to work.
Yep.
You're never late.
Yeah, I am.
No.
I've got several points on my attendance
You're a
record.
pretty good employee, according to them.
No, I've got 5 points
Why
on
would they
my,
tell me that?
I can prove it,
Prove what?
okay? That I've got 5 points
I
on
don't
my
care if you have
attendance.
5 points or not, you're not gonna make it back in time for work
I
at
understand
6:30.
I
You're not gonna make
understand
it back by,
And I've got days to call in for sick days.
you didn't call in sick.
I don't
You
have
went
to,
that
I
year
last
because,
minute.
but
So,
you haven't called in sick, you called in sick 5 times this year, only.
only that's
No,
pretty good for me.
That's really good.
So,
That's really good for an employee of Crown Court Conceal. That's what they told me.
well, not with our tenants policy now, but
No, they're telling, that's what I talked to them. They told me, you're good, you're very good in tenants. You're not, that's not an issue. Good employee, doesn't complain a lot.
yep. So,
You're not gonna make it back, you're not gonna make it back in time for work.
right. And I have called in several times.
Mhm.
I do it at least 5 times a year for stuff like this. Every other year for Crown Fest, when my day don't fall in,
You've always taken the day off.
and we don't have trades anymore. Did you ask them that? We don't have trades anymore to take the day off.
Schedule vacations.
You can't, and my vacations are done. You can't get a vacation in August, September. I'm too low on the pole to get a vacation.
They told you they were giving you a day off to make the transition to third shift, or to night shift.
Right,
You didn't take it.
I didn't need it. One day wouldn't have helped me.
No? Would have given you time so you were gonna call in sick instead. One day would have helped you perfectly. One day would have fit in perfectly if you're gonna be running around, you're gonna be late. It's going to work at 6:30, your wife's not done until 2:30, and they offered you to say, why don't you just take the day so you can adjust to the third shift, and you're saying that's not gonna help you?
I don't ever take a transition day when I switch crews.
It would have helped you, you would have had to call in sick like you were planning on. Were you planning on calling sick or planning on calling in late?
Sick, I wouldn't come back that late.
Okay.
But
Well,
if it's
you
over
told us
2
you were
hours,
coming back.
if it was
You
over,
always do that.
if it was over 2 hours,
You told me you always do that.
okay. So,
And these are things that are not making sense to me.
I
And
understand.
I want you to understand
I
them.
perfectly understand that.
How they're just kind of floating around here. We're not
Yes.
touching them.
Yep.
And there's no
I
explanations.
gave you all the answers that I can think of and come up with. I'm not gonna try and,
You haven't given us all of them.
I understand that, and I don't have all of them, okay?
You got
I don't have all of
quite a
them.
few of them, Todd. You know,
And look at, I would tell you if I had them answers,
Okay.
Would
Can
you?
okay?
Would you?
Yes, I would.
Can I just run through this with you, Ted? Just, and you tell me if you would think anything differently, okay? So we described the injuries she's had, which are multiple, and you said that you agree that those injuries couldn't happen from a pipe going through the windshield one time.
Right,
The professionals, those that conducted the autopsy, are telling us the same thing, impossible.
Huh.
So we've gone through those injuries with you. You said she had no injuries beforehand.
no,
You pointed out for us,
yeah, let's see if I can do it now. Sorry,
No problem.
too many people. That's
Sure.
my son's phone, so I tried to write it out.
good,
No, I don't know how to do it, I'll just wait till he's,
okay. So you kind of explained the scenario coming from home with your wife on a morning that she had to work. Somehow it became important to replace this windshield after a month. I think most people, if you were to say if object went through your windshield at this driveway, that you probably would have stopped within 100 feet or so, certainly not turned off onto the side road, ended up in a ditch after hitting. That seems strange, doesn't it? Okay,
how far from the house was I?
okay,
Not very far.
right,
And a school bus comes through at what?
yeah, okay.
So, you know, I'm just saying,
I think most people,
What are you-
and maybe I'm wrong, but if I can just kind of go through each thing. If you were to most people, I think, if you were to ask them the same scenario, they would have stopped, and maybe they've done exactly what you did after the fact. But your odds of someone coming by and helping you out are better on County M, the main highway, than it is by driving on some side road. Given that, you've got these scratches that on the chest can't be explained. Some on your neck that you say may be from doing tree stand work.
no, I didn't say I was some tree stand work.
Well, you said possible trail riding.
No, I said this possibly could be.
This, okay.
The ones on my neck, I have no clue.
You have no, okay,
I said that.
okay,
I said that.
okay. And we work a lot of domestics, and those are very similar to a domestic dispute type
Okay.
situation.
Did we have any of my stuff on Barb?
Well, that's what we're checking, and that's the point I'm going to get to, if you
Okay.
give me a minute to
Okay.
explain what's going on.
Okay.
Okay, so the not emergency run, but somehow a very important run to replace a windshield when you have to prepare for this vacation for the weekend, has to get done on a rainy morning, on a Friday when she has to
That
go
was
to
gonna be how
work.
we paid for our camping.
Okay,
That's all the reason that was.
okay. And in addition to that, you have your explanation of how you tried to revive her, right? Okay. And you put all that together, and because we look into this, like I explained earlier, the medical examiner says this very much looks like somebody killed her.
Really?
So when we get that information, we're going to proceed on that, right?
Right, yep.
And part of that is if we were to tell everybody that was suspected or possibly suspected of killing someone, that we're going to search everything that they own, your phones,
Yep.
your home,
Yep.
car that was at the scene,
Yep.
they would get rid of the evidence, right? And one might say that in some ways, somebody could have got rid of some of the evidence, given the amount of time that went by.
What
Having said
do
that-
I have for evidence?
Okay, and that's what I'm getting to. At the house, they're doing a search warrant now.
Okay,
They found blood in this unattached garage, drops of blood
and where?
in the unattached garage.
That's, okay, and that's great.
Where's it from?
A deer, there's absolutely no blood over there. You can
That's
run
not
the
correct.
DNA.
Okay.
I'm perfect with that. I have absolutely no problem with that.
They're still
Okay.
searching the house.
That's fine.
That's just one of the
Yep,
aspects.
that's, just tell them if they can not to mess all the stuff up that we got for Barb for this weekend.
Okay,
I'm 100% okay with them going through everything, just don't mess up, it's just pictures and all that stuff.
gotcha.
Um, I'm 100% okay with everything else.
All right.
But just don't, we have a lot of time and effort in that.
Sure.
I don't want them to mess up, they can go
Okay,
through everything.
so
and-
we're gonna look at the car, and I think you agree too, and I think everybody with just some knowledge of flying objects realize that pipe's gonna penetrate substantially more.
Yeah,
So, given all those circumstances thus far, and the fact that we're gonna look at the car, you know, if that bulge in the windshield doesn't have your skin in there, that won't add up. So, you have this unique opportunity today to explain if something else happened and help us understand. We wanna help you.
and I wanna look at both you guys right now.
Okay, otherwise the evidence is gonna talk for you.
And let the evidence talk. Evidence can talk all it wants to. Evidence can talk all it wants to,
People
okay?
understand why you wouldn't want to, but
I did not hurt my wife at all. And you can check that blood in the garage, you can check whatever you want to check. I did not hurt my wife. Okay? You can check,
Who did?
I have no idea. The pipe that I'm sorry, but I was with her. I did not hurt my wife.
All these injuries happen.
I understand that, I understand
That pipe
that.
coming through that window.
I don't know how they could have. I honestly,
You
there's,
do, but you do know.
I don't know. And you're not gonna give me the snap? I'm not,
I'm not trying to
I'm
get you to
not,
snap. I'm not saying.
I'm not, I'm
All I'm saying
very,
is that you know how it happened.
I'm very, I don't know what you call it, but I will not, I don't care how much somebody pushes me, I will not snap. Under no circumstances will I snap or
what do you mean by snap?
to just blow up and get outraged and.
We're not trying to get you outraged, we're trying to help you
I think you
explain.
guys are, because you don't realize I'm without my wife,
You're not the first
and
person.
I understand you guys gotta do this.
Mhm.
But I've told, and I know you had to do it 2 or 3 times to try to get me to say something wrong. I'm not telling you guys anything that's not
We're just looking
legit.
for the truth.
And I'm giving you my truth. I'm giving you my truth.
Is that the truth?
That's the truth. How these injuries happened, I have no idea.
Would you come up with a different conclusion
Would I come up with?
You or us?
based on what I told you so far?
Well, if that's what you're looking at, yeah. I probably would.
What would that be?
But is there nothing, there's absolutely no way that, we did every scenario and I don't know how fast that truck was going. I told you guys that.
That doesn't-
I assumed, I don't know about,
We might expect something like that if there's a roller accident at high speed.
I've seen video of a pipe that got run over, went straight up in the air, and went through a police squad car's windshield sideways on an on-ramp at probably anywhere from 25 to 35 miles per hour. And it wasn't traveling anywhere, it just went straight up in the air, a car drove through, and that had enough So that made it through sideways
I,
at that slow of a speed.
and it may
It's
have
going through,
a
according to you, it's going through this way, straight, at
and
90 to 120, depending on the speeds, miles per hour, if you put both the traveling speeds together.
yeah. Yeah,
It's not gonna stop.
I'm 100%.
The injuries on Barb are not consistent with the accident that occurred. They could not, those injuries did not happen in that accident.
Well,
They did not happen in that accident.
well,
They
there's,
did not happen in that accident. There's no way that those injuries, totality of those injuries, happened with one blow and in that accident. They did not happen that way. There's no way, no how.
well, what, then, I'm telling you, what,
You're not telling us the whole truth.
yes, I am.
You're not.
I'm not, I
I
would,
wish you were. I know it's tough, and I'm not trying to get you riled up, but you're not telling us the truth. You're not.
If something else happened.
do the search
There's an
warrant,
there's,
do this, guys, I can't do anymore. I can't do it, I can't tell you anymore, I can't do anymore. You do the search warrant,
Did your son kill her?
hell no,
Did your daughter?
no.
Did anybody
My
else
kids
know?
love my wife. I was with her. I was in the car with her.
Was anybody else at your house?
No,
You said you called your mother-in-law at the house.
my son was home,
Your son was home till
but
then?
sleeping.
Okay.
He's home
So
Thursday night.
he was sleeping when you left?
Yes,
Okay.
yep,
Now, how close is the bedroom to, say, the kitchen area? I assume you use the kitchen area in the morning?
yeah.
Okay. How close is the bedroom?
His bedroom's right below it.
Okay.
I was in the car with her. There's nobody that hurt her.
So your son would tell us that he was home
Yes,
that morning?
yes.
Okay. And he would also tell us under oath that he didn't hear a disturbance or an argument?
He would have come up. We never argue. We never argue. It would be, we never argue. He'll tell you that, yeah. She has a bowel movement problem thing that she gets constipated and then gets diarrhea and back and forth.
Like Crohn's or?
No, I don't know what it's called, irritable bowel syndrome.
Okay.
And there'd be times when she'd get worked up about that.
Like angry?
No, that she'd have to, anytime like we went to Haydays on a big trip or a long trip,
Yep.
she'd get all nerved up and then she either wouldn't be able to go to the bathroom or she wouldn't be able to stop.
Okay.
But that, we've dealt with it for 25 years.
How about you? Okay,
Yeah,
how about
it's-
you? Have you been sick?
I'm never sick.
Okay.
I don't-
I just asked that because I don't know where I heard it, but that you had lost some weight.
I've been losing, yeah.
Okay.
I was up to 246 and my doctor wanted me to get down to 200 pounds.
Okay.
So,
That was
So, yeah.
on your doctor's advice.
Yeah.
You've been.
Yeah, we got a
how have you been
membership.
doing that?
we got a membership at the gym in West Salem.
Okay.
And we don't go in the summer, but in the fall, every night after work, we go down. And we go to the gym together.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all been planned to try to lose weight. I had an acid reflux problem, and he said losing weight would help it, and my family's got diabetes. So he said that would help me stay away from that.
Okay.
So it was a plan that Barb and I had worked on and said, yeah, we wanna go with, I wanna get down.
Okay.
So that was all 100% planned. And either her or, it's normally Barb that calls her mom on Friday morning, or every morning
Okay.
before she goes to work.
So
But
who called her that morning?
I did because I had a well guy coming. She was having trouble with her well running. And I had a well guy coming.
Did anybody do work on it? Well.
Well, I don't know if he called me back or not. I had it set up with Les Abel.
Okay.
He had a job in Madera or somewhere. So I don't remember where he had his first job.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, he was going to call me and come out.
Okay. And you said her place is on your property?
We built our house on the home farm,
On the home farm. And where's your mother-in-law?
right down the hill from us, right below
Okay.
us.
And she had a well problem.
We just remodeled her whole bathroom. We put a laundry room upstairs and stuff because she's
Okay.
84 and she can't go up down the stairs anymore.
Okay.
So So I just remodeled her whole bathroom, put the washer and dryer upstairs.
So you're pretty handy that way?
And yeah, I like doing that stuff.
Okay. You did the remodel?
We flipped 5 or 6 houses in the last couple of years, Barb and I have.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Do you do all the work, or?
no, we just do, like she does all the decorating and painting and stuff.
Okay,
And I'll do some of the demo, and if it's a small one, I'll do it, but if it's a big one, I hire it out.
okay.
Just a little hobby that we do. I mean, we did one to pay for the kid's wedding, and we did this one to buy a camper.
Okay.
So just a little something
So do you contract with anyone else
as far as
electrical or plumbing
Yeah.
or anything like that?
I have Rocky Lockington do all my framing.
Okay.
And,
What part do you do?
What's that?
What part do you do then if he doesn't?
I'll help with framing. If it's a new construction, I'll have him do all
Okay.
the framing and the siding and all that.
Who does electrical?
Well, Tim Tracy usually does, but I had Allied do this one. Allied Electric.
And how about plumbing?
My son-in-law,
What's his name?
Michael.
Like,
Michael Service.
okay, okay. He's a plumber?
He's an apprentice plumber.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. And
Yeah.
so what kind of work had you done on, what was wrong with your mother-in-law's?
Well, I guess it was just, she's got an old toilet downstairs. And I guess they found out, Les didn't go, her nephew came over. And I guess that she's got an old toilet downstairs that I thought was unhooked, but that was the rubber thing that was leaking.
Okay,
So every now and then the pump would kick on for no reason.
gotcha.
About 10 years ago it did that, and we had to dig the whole yard up and replace the water line coming in.
Okay,
And I thought that maybe that's what it was again, because the ground is sinking a little bit around there.
okay.
So I thought maybe that's what it was again.
So who did that replacement?
That was Service, Cletus Service.
Okay,
I don't think he does it anymore. He was pretty old then.
related to Mike?
No,
Okay,
no. Cletus's kid Scott does it now, Scott Service.
okay,
He does the plumbing now.
okay.
But I've had Les Abel do a few jobs for me, septic wise. And so he had worked on Joyce's well before. And so
Okay.
he was gonna come out and look at it.
Okay,
And he was just gonna call me when he was done with that other job and come out.
gotcha. What's your mother-in-law's name?
Joyce
Joyce,
Adams.
okay.
She's
Is she pretty with it yet? She talks, normal conversations? And
yeah, but she's really, she don't get out much anymore. If Barb and I didn't take her somewhere, she wouldn't go anywhere.
Okay. Did Barb visit her a lot, or did she?
Yeah, we were down there every probably, well, we helped with the lawn, and I shoveled all the snow, and Barb did all our bills and that stuff.
Okay,
So she's pretty dependent on Barb, she was. And then me for the fix-it stuff and the snow and like that.
mm-hmm. Did she have income?
Joyce?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
She had her husband retired from the county, and she was just a telephone operator, so she didn't have much. She didn't have much money income, but the farm was paid for, and
Okay,
So-
so she doesn't pay rent or anything like that?
No.
or- Okay,
everything she's got is paid. She's got an older little Montana van, and she don't drive that anymore. She don't want to be on the road anymore, so
okay,
if the whole family goes, then we take that van, because it's enough people.
gotcha.
Yeah, we go down like on a Friday night, take her for fish, or take her to church on Sunday, and that's about. We go for a lot of rides. When Barb's dad was around yet, every Sunday we had to go for a ride somewhere,
Okay,
and so we tried to kind of keep that tradition with Joyce, just to keep her mind off stuff. And Otherwise, she just sits in the house all day by herself.
Okay.
So,
So, how are you doing financially?
excellent. Our house is almost paid off. It's a $350,000 house. It's almost, well, $50,000 on it.
Okay.
Our payment's only $400 a month. And we owe on the car, I think $9,000 on the car, and that's all we got to pay for it.
There's no other debts?
No.
Okay.
And I make
If I can ask you what you make roughly?
85,000.
Okay. And how about,
Be a little more now because I'm in the maintainer group, so probably be closer to 90, 92, but,
okay.
so,
What was Barb making?
oh,
Ballpark?
probably 15 or 16.
And your other source of income were these house flips or?
Just our house flips we do. And we wouldn't do them to get rich off them.
So you would actually buy a house?
Yeah,
How would you pay for it?
a loan through the bank.
Okay. And how long would it take you to flip one?
It depends. This last one took me a little bit longer. It took us probably 9 months. It was a brand new one we built.
Okay.
We've done a couple new ones and a couple flippers.
Use the same bank.
Yeah, Seven Bridges Bank up in Holman. I work with Todd up there, and been just phenomenal to work with. We have all our regular checking and banking and everything at the First Community Credit Union. We have, I think, 3 checking accounts and 2 or 3 savings accounts there.
Okay.
And Barb takes care of all that. And then,
And you've never gotten any financial distress
no,
because the flip took too long or
no. We've always been.
so it's been paid on time?
What's that?
The mortgages or loans have been paid on time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we've never had a problem with any of that.
Okay.
We'd always, to start it, we'd always, because Barb's mom has a lot of money in the bank just for her, in case something happens to her house or whatever.
Sure.
So to start our projects, we'd go down there and get whatever we needed to start it with from her. And then we'd pay her back a little bit of interest, like 30,000 or 50,000 or like that. And then when the deal closed, then we'd pay her back with interest for using that money.
Okay. Gotcha. And you said you're both healthy?
Yep.
Kids are healthy?
Very healthy, yep.
Okay.
Yep. Jessica's got a little bit of a depression problem. She got it from Barb, but
So what would depression look like in Barb?
she just get quiet.
Never got ornery and
If-
argumentative or?
If the garage wasn't clean, she'd come home and say, that she'd have a list, can you do this, this, and this?
Okay.
But it wasn't nothing. I mean, I got a list. Did I see it on the refrigerator? I got a list.
That to-do list.
And there's only a couple things crossed off on it, just because we always did, instead of going here, we'd go there, or do this or that. And,
Sure.
and they're big, our retaining wall up front needs to be replaced, and we were going to try and get that done. This fall, our roof needed to be fixed. We needed to finish the back half of our shingles. And that was on the list. I got that done because of all these rains we've been having. But she'd just get down and mopey and sit in the house before I got home, and then she'd write a bunch of stuff down as far as what's what.
Okay.
And say, can we get these done? And
Yeah.
just put them on,
Okay.
But she never got logger or ornery or,
Sure.
she just get, mopey like that.
The kids wouldn't have seen anything like that either.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they have.
How would they say your depression look like?
Just like I said, quiet,
Same?
mopey, have a
Okay.
list of stuff to
So
get
she wouldn't
done.
argue with them either,
Mm-mm.
or fight with them, or?
No, she'd argue a little bit with Jordan once in a while because he likes to flip snowmobiles and cars and stuff
Okay.
between the school stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and she wanted him to concentrate on the school loan instead of doing his other stuff.
Sure.
So, and it was just kind of a way for him to, get away from school for a little bit, and he enjoyed doing it. It didn't hurt. And she'd be fine with it, just if she was in one of her little moods, so then she'd sit down and talk to him about, that's what you should be doing instead of that, and but nothing ever, no, neither one of our kids ever. When Jessica was in high school, we had a pretty good spat with her. She was mad at us, and we didn't agree with one of the boys that she was wanting to go out with, and we had a whole spat there, and got a little nasty. She got a little nasty, but
Nasty.
I just blew it off, and
What if police called her?
no, we never got that nasty. It was just, she was mad because we wouldn't let her date this kid, and she was old enough, and yada yada, and it
So
was,
was it a shouting match or
yeah, just
being
kind of,
physical?
no, never. We've never, none of our families ever gotten physical. We've had very, very, very few shouting matches, especially now that they're out of high school.
Sure.
We've got a phenomenal knit. I mean, everybody's just, we go to the apple orchard every year. We go,
Was it just the two of you, or do you have another couple that are friends with you, or?
well, we have a bunch of different friends, but mainly it was just Barb and I that would do stuff.
Okay. Who's your closest friends?
Well, we got several of them, Tammy and Jeff Larson,
I mean, how do you know them?
just friends.
Okay.
Their kids went to school with our kids,
Okay,
and we've got to know them good that way.
sure.
And then Paulie and Kara Jonas are some more good friends. We used to camp with them a lot. We went on trips to Michigan all over with them, with the campers.
Colin?
What's that?
Colin and Karen Jones?
Paul.
Paul?
Paul and Kara. And then Rob and Ruthie Olson.
Okay.
Who would you consider your best friend?
My best friend, Jordan.
Who do you think? Who was Barb's best friend?
Probably Janella Serrara.
Who's she?
Just she grew up with her.
Okay.
Um,
Been friends since they were kids?
Yeah, we'd go out to fish. She was always our third wheel, we called her. She never got married, never. She was heavier set. When Barb first met her in school, I remember Barb telling me this. Janella come in and everybody started picking on her. And Barb was always the one that would go for those kind of people. And she said she stuck up for her, and she said ever since then they've been friends. She said through everything. And I don't care what it is, a birthday, anniversary, Janella will not miss a card for us.
Oh, yeah.
She's
That's nice.
she was in our wedding. She's probably that, and then Tina McCoy is probably another one, but Tina lost her daughter 8 years ago. Or no, it's been longer than 8 years ago. So she's probably not quite as close as Janella is to Barb. But probably Janella is her best friend. Jordan and I, when he's back, when he's home, if I'm not with Barb, I'm with him.
Anybody hang out with at work?
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh God, there's a bunch.
Just at work or outside work?
Outside work and at work.
Okay.
I hang around with Keith Wacky, Barry Christensen, Scott Turgerson. There's, Barbara and I would, it was us two, and then if someone else wanted to do something with us, we were fine with it. But otherwise we did everything with us, her and I.
Okay.
Whether it was going to get ice cream or just going for a drive or just whatever it was. We'd go up to Toma to all the little craft shops on the main drag. We'd go up there to all of them. But
Sounds like pretty close.
we were very close.
On Friday, was Barb planning on going back home to change after you got done with where you were going?
Yes,
She was gonna change?
yep, she was going back home. We weren't planning on going up till later.
No. Before work. When you're going to,
No,
go
she
pick up
was
the
ready to go to
pickup truck,
work.
she was ready to go to work?
Yep,
And that's what she would normally wear?
yep.
'Cause it sounds like they normally would wear jeans on Fridays. And they'll kind of match their outfit.
What did she have on? She was ready to work. She was ready to go to work. She had her work clothes and she was dressed to go to work.
Because normally they wear jeans, the food staff wears jeans on Fridays. And some type of a matching shirt that they'd pick out. She wasn't in that. She didn't have that on.
Well, she dresses herself, so I don't know. I can't tell you that.
I'm just
She
telling you,
right.
normal.
Another strike against me, but
I'm just,
Right, I'm just telling you that she's, because half the time she had to pick my clothes out for me that I couldn't match.
you're a guy.
So she's
No problems with any bills or anything like that?
None.
None?
No.
Sounds like there's a lot of bills, unopened bills at the house.
Well, we just closed on a house that I have to pay. That's from all the house bills.
They also found blood in the attached garage.
Okay.
It sounds like you keep a pretty tidy house. Is there any explanation of what that would be?
She just cleaned it. I don't know. When there's still a bunch of it there. We took some of it to the dump Saturday, but
You were there helping her clean though, right?
no,
No,
I
you're
was
not.
not.
Okay.
She had everything all stacked, and I can't remember if she even sent me a text saying she's got a bunch of stuff to go or not. But she had a whole bunch of stuff stacked in the middle of the garage. She cleaned everything. She tore everything apart, cleaned everything. So I don't know what. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if she got cut there. I don't know what that is. I know for a fact that she's never over. I mean, unless she comes over to help me clean the detached garage, she's never in that. We got our.
Yeah, no, they found some there, then they just found some in the attached
Okay.
garage.
And like I say, I don't know what that's, if it's the same stuff that's in the other garage, or if it's from her, or what. I don't know what to tell you with that. I don't have an answer for that.
We come back to the spot of these injuries on Barbara that are not consistent with the accident.
And there's no other possible way, I mean,
Not with the different levels of injury, the different planes is what they call them. They refer to them as, different planes. So there's no explanation whatsoever.
That,
Different injuries.
that pipe didn't come from your house, did it?
no.
'Cause I can show you here. It's down to the crime lab. You know what DNA is, right?
Yep.
So I just want to make sure that nobody else from the house has their DNA in that pipe. Is there any reason it would be?
What's this mean? I don't see how it,
That's just an evidence sheet that shows that the pipe is down to the crime lab.
right,
This is the pipe that was through the windshield.
Okay.
It went to the crime lab for analysis.
okay,
It's a metal pipe.
yep,
So it's down there now.
okay,
He's asking you is about that pipe wasn't at your house, ever.
no,
So nobody else in the family's DNA will be on that pipe. Not
No.
like it's a pipe that was
No.
in the garage,
No.
it was
No.
alongside the,
no.
nothing like that.
No,
Out in the whole,
No.
the whole building,
I've got some-
detached
I've
garage.
got some over by my, I got outdoor boiler,
Mhm.
and I've got a poker rod and a pipe that I use for that.
What kind of pipe is that?
It's just a little piece of, like like that pipe for a chain link fence. It's
Like
like that.
aluminum pipe? or-
No, it's like a galvanized, like a thin galvanized. And then I got a blue poker
Was
that
it
I
like, was it like this pipe?
I don't know what this pipe, I
Pipe
honestly
that
don't,
through the windshield?
I don't honestly remember what that pipe looked like. I honestly don't remember what that pipe, this is like it's just real thin. It's probably this long maybe. I keep it behind the furnace with I got a blue poker there. Now I usually have a fence post there. So if I can't get rid of them two, I get to the back of the furnace with a fence post. There's actually, I have I have nothing to worry about with that. Nope,
Nothing to worry about with that?
with that pipe.
Okay.
Different pipe.
What's that?
It's kind of strange how you said that.
With that?
With that pipe, I have nothing to, there's no, there would be nothing found in that pipe from anybody in my family. That pipe has never been around.
Help me to understand the injuries to the back of her head.
I don't, how,
They're significant. Very significant. Todd, I think you're trying not to let it go, but we're coming to the point where there's no explanations for it. You can't, the injuries that were on Barb did not occur from that accident, from a pipe going through your windshield, from you taking her out of the car, or you performing CPR on her. They didn't occur at that time. The injuries to Barb were done prior to that accident.
I know.
They are.
Well, I was with her.
I know.
I was with her, and I would not and will not hurt my wife. I'm gonna.
How do all those
I don't know how to do it. We have to,
separate planes of her body,
we have to,
from what you're explaining to us, it doesn't jive. It's not the mechanism of, it's not the cause of injury, it's not the mechanism of injury. Those injuries were caused elsewhere.
well, we're gonna have to try to find something else or figure something out. I don't know what,
What is it that concerns you from not telling us? You know, your recollection of it is pretty vague and not very detailed.
have you ever been in,
I understand it was traumatic.
and have you ever been, how would I say this? Have you ever, until you've had, and I've been in accidents before, nothing major, but I've been in accidents before, and your mind starts going 500 miles an hour, and when you, until you've been in something like this, where this happens, and I know you guys talk to people every day, and deal with people every day with this, but there's, I mean, if I could remember it scene to scene, second to second, I would explain it to you how it happened. But I don't know exactly what I'm telling you the best that I can remember. I'm telling, and you can shake your head at me.
I don't think, you're not giving us the whole
I'm giving
story.
you my story. I have absolutely zero reason to hurt my wife. Zero reason at all, and especially like this. What?
We're not saying that you intended for it to turn out this way.
So what would I intend it to do?
Well, something may have happened where the two of you got into, like I said, everybody gets an argument, that you got into some kind of argument, got out of control.
You can ask.
You got out of control, and
You
maybe
can
she
ask.
got after you
We're
first
asking
even.
you.
I understand, I'm telling
You
you
can ask
that.
everybody, but you were there.
I understand that, but you can ask anybody you want to that has been around with us for our entire lives. And you can ask them if we've ever got into a heated argument or I've ever raised my voice with
We're
her.
not saying that's a normal thing that you would have done. We're just saying that there's something that happened here.
I
It's
know.
out of the ordinary. It's out of your character. But it happened, and that's what we're trying to get to, because what we're seeing
Doesn't matter.
doesn't happen. It didn't happen that way. So something out of your character happened in the middle of all this, that some of this occurred. Something happened that you know that happened. You know what happened. You know exactly what happened, Todd.
I don't.
And you have to step up and be, think about your kids, your grandkids, all that you're not going to have any clue of what's. You need to step forward, be the man, the God-fearing man that you are, and let us know how this happened.
We don't need to bring God into it.
How this happened. You brought God in. You said
I
you were
did.
God-fearing man.
I'm just telling
Tell
you
us
that.
how this happened so we can explain it, so we can help you out. That's the problem. We don't. Right now, we got. There's an explanation for everything.
I understand.
And we understand that. We deal with it all the time.
And we have to find.
Yes, and why we're here talking to you is because we have to find that, because you have that explanation for us.
And
You do, Todd.
I'm telling you, I have no other, I have nothing else.
You have it up there. It's up there.
It's, I don't,
This happened to married couples all the time that would appear out in amongst their friends to be a perfectly married couple, and bad things happen all the time. And they don't, and I could bet that 99% of those guys would have never believed that it could have come to that it never could have happened that way, that they weren't even capable of it, and they just got into a rage and couldn't stop what was happening.
why would I have a pipe? Why would I mean?
Well, we just had a little conversation. What are the odds, first of all, to come down a road that isn't heavily traveled and to have a pipe come through your windshield?
But that road is heavily traveled in the mornings and evenings.
Well, not like an interstate or a US highway. So there aren't regular
Right.
vehicles, and of all those vehicles, very few of them are going to be carrying a pipe. Even fewer of them are going to have the pipe come loose. Even less odds that it's going to land where it did, in the manner it did, and then sustain the injuries that she had. And in addition to that, what are the odds that that would happen to a guy that changes windshields? I mean, what do you suppose those odds are? 1 in a trillion, if at all?
Astronomical.
But there's that
So,
one.
you asked me
The
about
totality,
you asked me about the pipe. That explains how the pipe might have got there.
What do you mean?
The guy that knows windshields and
Oh, gosh. You guys, I mean, no. There's absolutely no way, that if I was gonna hurt my wife, I would have done it like this. Absolutely no way.
I'm not saying you shoved the pipe through in there. I'm saying
What,
somewhere along the road you got in an argument.
or
Two
the
of you,
house prior, you got an argument.
well, we did not get in an
and it
argument.
came to blows. It got out of control, and
We did not,
you thought she was dead.
we did not get in an argument. Absolutely no way. No way did we get in an argument.
How did the bone in her throat get broken?
I don't know how much force can that take? I don't know.
How did her nose get broken?
I don't know that either.
How did she get damage to her lips?
I don't know all this stuff,
How did
guys.
she get in the forehead?
How did,
How
I
did she
mean,
have massive wounds to the back of her head?
did we, I mean, could she?
No.
Well, I mean, there's
No.
gotta be
They weren't, that's not, no, but if her dropped her head, no, that didn't cause those injuries. Those injuries were caused elsewhere and not in the car.
well,
They were massive injuries.
they weren't caused outside the car.
Where were they caused?
I
You gotta tell us that.
I can't tell you that. I'm telling you, I
could.
can't tell you that.
You could tell us that.
No,
if
I
you don't want
can't.
to,
I do not have an answer for that.
because they weren't there, and the accident did not cause those, and you know they didn't. You can sit here, you know that those injuries, All those injuries did not happen in that car, and you know it.
I'm not gonna argue with you guys.
I'm not trying to argue there, I'm just saying, you know that that happened.
And
You know that those injuries were not consistent with that type of an accident injury. No way, no how, didn't happen.
Well,
We need you to explain to us how.
I can't explain it to you again,
How did you get the injuries on your hand?
from the windshield.
Okay, explain that, how you did that. What did you do to the windshield that caused those cuts?
I lunged out for the pipe, I think.
Okay, and how did your hands get cut by lunging out for the pipe?
I pushed him through the windshield.
You pushed it through
Or
the windshield?
not through it, but into it.
Okay. All right. How did the blood get on the outside of the windshield?
I suppose when I pulled the pipe out.
No,
What would it be then?
I don't know. It's not that way. Blood would have been on the inside of the windshield if you pulled it out, but not on the outside of the windshield.
How would it have been on the outside?
Because the pipe's not bloody.
So if it's on the windshield, how can it not be?
You tell me.
I don't know. I don't know how to tell you. What I'm telling you is what I know and what I can tell you.
We're doing search warrants on the phones and the computers,
Okay?
just so you're aware of that.
That's perfectly fine.
Okay. Including your wife's phone.
Okay?
For any phone calls, text messages, anything at all like that, you can do a whole download of it, same as yours.
Yeah.
All those things are gonna be on there. We're gonna find any evidence of any type of a dispute, argument.
You can, I wish you the
Money.
best.
You know, we're stopping it at, it's like, can't see it, 2:30:07. We thought it was a good place to stop it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take our noon recess now for about an hour. Try to be back about 1 o'clock. Again, don't talk about the case, talk about whatever else you want to. They'll also take care of you over that time, so enjoy your lunch hour.